two, and one. And I think we are live. Here we go. Microphone check. Microphone checker. Let's see if the chat reacts. I know there's a little delay, but shouldn't be too bad. Testing. What's up, chat? We live? Are we good? We crispy? Yep, we are live. What's going on? What's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? Your only friend is YouTube Street PSSR 77. You know how we do. We back with episode 309 of the 60 Frames No Lag podcast, right? Where we chop it all up. We have a good time. We talk a little trash. We throw some little jokes, but we give some good perspectives and stuff like that, right? And I got a little bit of the crew here, you know what I'm saying? We got Craig Harris up in here. Top flight security of the world, Craig. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, how you all doing? How's everybody doing out there? Shout out to the chat. I hope you're staying warm out there. It's got a few topics to talk about here, so hopefully goes well. And have a good time chopping it up.
All right, yeah, I heard it's a little bit nippy, you know. Not too bad in California, you know. I've been in California for 4 years, so now it's cold for me. You know, I got used to it. I got used to the climate. All right, brother. But stay bundled up. Make sure you have that hot chocolate with Kentucky bourbon. That'll keep you warm.
It will. That is true. That is true.
All right. And we got the judge. What's going on? Holston, what's up, my brother?
Man, I'm good, man. Thank you so much, man, for having me. As I said a little bit earlier, I'm a bit exhausted. What's up to the chat? I feel like an old man today, but I just know it's from mental exhaustion and it's crazy. And another thing that I'm dealing with too. I'm gonna keep a PG-13. Let's just say this. I got a female cat that I had as a kitten, and it's about a year old now, and she meowing like crazy right now. I think she probably in heat, but that's a whole nother thing I gotta deal with.
Oh man, the cat's about to give you kittens. About to give you kittens. You're about to have some grandkids.
Pause.
Oh. All right, man. Yeah, but listen. I say thank you. It's an honor and privilege to have you here. You know what I'm saying? So it's me thanking you for showing up. I love your opinions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you hooking me up with your presence. You know, your presence is blessing the podcast. All of you guys. And then, of course, the antagonizer in chief. You know, even he, when he says the council war is over, he just can't let it go. He's gonna get the last scrap until the last bot is gone. It's a complete extermination for him. He's not even when they wave the white flag, he's like, nah, I'm chopping off the arms holding the white flag. What's going on, my brother?
What's good, man? What's good, everybody? Hope y'all doing good. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. Hope y'all played plenty of PlayStation bangers as usual. And we in here tonight, man. Happy! I do want to say this: happy 30th anniversary for PlayStation and for PlayStation Nation. You know what I'm saying? I remember like it was yesterday, man. My oldest brother, he saved up some money. He had a job, but he saved up some money to buy either a PlayStation or a Sega Saturn. And prior to that generation, we had we were Sega Genesis guys. Joe Montana football and
I'm telling you,
Earl,
if you were a sports guy,
Streets of Rage,
facts.
So I mean,
if
Sega
you were sports guys,
Genesis
was the shit, bro.
Yeah,
Genesis had sports on lock.
Yeah.
Lakers versus Celtics, if you remember that.
Yep. Yeah, Bull versus Blazers.
Oh my
All
God!
that. Coach K basketball. It was the only place you could play. That was
Buster Douglas boxing.
Buster Douglas, Holyfield
when he beat Tyson.
Everything.
Joe Montana football when it started talking. That was like the first announcement.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
It was the first
prime
play calling
with
announcement.
Deion Sanders.
Oh man, Tommy Lasorda baseball. Oh man.
Yeah, and we had Sega CD. We had 32X. We had
that was the first mid-gen refresh, the 32X.
Yeah, but
the first mid-gen refresh.
Exactly. Facts. Now what happened is we went to Toys R Us and they had the Sega Saturn and they had the PlayStation.
Yeah.
We didn't know what PlayStation was. We didn't know what Sony. It was new. It was the new kid on the block. The
Yeah.
household names in gaming was Nintendo and Sega. And so here come PlayStation. They had the demo disc in at FuncoLand, and we played it. It had Arena to Shinden was one of the first demos we tried. It was, oh man, this is crazy. And we tried Rallycross and Jumping Flash, and I think from then we were like, we're gonna try this PlayStation out and see what it's about. And so we bought it, man, and we didn't look back ever since then. PlayStation was just the place where we wanted to play, and it's been what I'm saying, no complaints, no
Mm.
complaints, man.
All right. Yeah. This was different. Yes. It's almost similar to
Yeah,
me. Same thing, man. I was a Sega dude. I had Nintendo though also as well. Um.
yeah.
Yeah. But PlayStation changed the game, man. 30 years, bro. God.
Yeah.
30
Nintendo,
years.
yeah, Nintendo with us, it was like Sega was where all like the more mature audiences, they
Man.
had like the more
'Cause
mature games,
we.
and
Yeah.
Nintendo was more of the kiddie type games, and it's me and my little brother and my oldest brother, we ended up doing whatever he did, but being diehard gamers because of it.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Oh
But
man, that's
30
crazy.
years for the Rock, 30 freaking
Yeah,
years,
man.
man.
You know what I'm saying? I
And
love the update, man. I hope they keep it. I know people
yeah,
social media, because Sony said it's limited time that we get to use it, which doesn't make sense. Like, why would
yeah,
you put the effort programming it, right? And then just take it
yeah,
away. Like, what you gonna do with it gone? Like, put it in the archives? Like, just leave it alone.
yeah,
Let people enjoy it. I think it's
yeah,
dope. I got the PlayStation 2 one. I went through all of
yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't know that PlayStation 2. Out of all of them, like the PlayStation 1 was, memorable,
yeah,
especially the beginning. I love how the intro, but using the PlayStation 2 menu, I don't know why,
yeah,
but that shit resonated more than the PlayStation 1 or the 3. I don't know, man.
yeah,
I think the PlayStation 2 out of all the PlayStation was my favorite gen. I don't know what it is, but that shit hit. I was like, oh, I
yeah,
remember this. That shit hit.
yeah.
Loved it.
I think, I
So
think,
that's what
I
I'm
think
using right now. The PlayStation
the
2.
PS2 era was the more impactful.
Ooh.
PS1 was great, right? It was
Yeah.
great,
Oh
but it was
yeah.
the new kid on the block, and it showed the industry it was here to stay.
Mhm.
But PS2 just knocked everybody out, and it was like, nah, we here to take over. We're the leaders
Yo.
now.
No.
And they just that's what happened. That era was just freaking crazy. And I
Yeah.
know people get upset and they say, yeah, it was the best gen, and none of these other generations you can compare. But in my own personal opinion, this generation here is shaping up to be the best one. Like it's just I
It's
don't
you know
know,
what
man.
it
It's
is though.
just
Here's the thing: every generation is different because the industry is different, right? I can understand why
yeah,
people say the PS2 or the PS1 or even the PS3 up to a certain point is the best gen,
yeah,
but they gotta understand, like especially the PS1 and PS2, the industry
yeah,
backed the higher selling console. So a lot of people
yeah.
don't realize, they forget a lot of exclusives was third party. A lot of the multiplats today would have been
Yes,
exclusive during the PS1 PS2 gen. Like if
that's true.
if the 360, the PS3, in my opinion, was more than just HD. To me, that was the
Yeah,
turning point of third party changing because of the
true.
PS3 lack of sales, right? And
Yeah,
now they rely on 360 instead of saying, you know what? Here's the dilemma, right? I ain't gonna say dilemma. The attitude before the 360 gen, the PlayStation 3 and the 360 gen, was you back the winner because it was
yeah,
powered PC. There wasn't that many companies doing multi-plats. That wasn't a thing. They just focused on one platform, one set of specs. The
hmm,
whole ease of use of multi-platform development wasn't really a thing, right? That
yeah,
wasn't really a thing, right? So whoever was
yeah,
the lead console, hey, we're going with that one, right? And you just stick with it.
yeah,
PlayStation 3, 360 gen, it was assumed the PlayStation 3 was once again to be the winner, right? Or be the
yeah,
lead platform, but they stumbled. They fucked up in the beginning
yeah,
of gen. 360 came out the gate great, but only in specific regions, which was United
hmm,
States and UK. It wasn't global. So 360 didn't
exactly.
really have that global presence, in most of Europe, Asia, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, you can't fully back 360 because there's still a lot of regions it's not there, but you can't fully back PlayStation 3 either because it's not selling well. So then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when the whole now DMC's on 360, Final Fantasy's on 360. And that
Yeah.
to me, it was the generation that third party started realizing, you know what? We don't have to back the top guy anymore. We just put out stuff anywhere
Anywhere.
that we can and we have the ability to, right? But there was still
Yeah.
room for third party deals and all that stuff, which you saw a lot of. Microsoft did it
Yeah.
with the 360. You
Yeah.
saw a lot of third party exclusives. PlayStation was doing it, so that was not out of the norm and stuff.
Yeah.
But that
Sean
generation
Layden.
changed the
Yeah.
trajectory. PS2, PS1, man, there was you didn't even have to do a deal. A lot of the stuff was just exclusive, just because outright you
Yeah.
were top selling system. So it was just coming to PlayStation like bow,
hmm
bow, bow. It was
Sean Layden
crazy, man.
said something today, Porter Rock. I don't know if you saw, but
I
I
haven't read the
screen
article,
screen
but I
captured.
yeah, no.
But to sum it up, he said when they first started, they wanted to be different. Where the industry was like Sega and Nintendo, they were like 80 to 90% first party games and only 10% to 20% multi-plat or third party. So Sony came in the gate and said, we want to be the console for everybody. We want to make it for everybody. So they came in the gate saying, we made it our business not to have more than 20% of our first party games, and we'll let everybody else create games for our platform. That'll bring more people in. And he said because that happened, everybody wanted to make games for PlayStation, and that's how they ended up getting all that exclusive stuff. Just by chance, they had a different mindset of the industry. If you were a Sega guy back in the day, 90% of the games that you played
Well,
were
Sega,
Sega games.
absolutely,
Any
yeah.
sport game, it
Nintendo
was
as well.
Sega. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Nintendo is exactly.
Yeah, I put it
Even
up
to
on the
this day,
screen.
Nintendo still kept that same. They keep that same model, right? 90% of the games on that platform are Nintendo games. They're their games,
Yeah.
and
So I'll
this is why when it's coming to Nintendo, they'll never make a super powerful console because they don't have to. They don't make games that is going to take advantage of, what I'm saying, of ray tracing and all that stuff. That's not what they do.
So I'll read his quote. It says, "We always knew PlayStation would only be successful if we made it, quote, the people's platform. Sony deliberately never had more than maybe 22% of first party software share. On the Sega platform, Nintendo, first party had 80, 85, 90% of the software market. But we always knew PlayStation would only be successful if we made it, quote, the people's platform. It's for third parties
Yep.
to come make a business. We'll come in, we'll get 25% typically at launch. The share is higher because we put all the bets on the new games. But over time, the real leaders in that marketplace as far as revenue and share goes were the Activisions and the Take-Twos and the EAs and stuff, right? And so this is a good quote, right? And this goes in
Yeah.
line with what I was saying, right? Which is pretty much Sony, when they made that decision, they doubled down on what they're in the business was doing. And I keep
A
reminding
goal.
people that
Yeah.
their businesses, they're a marketplace. Everybody keeps saying that they're a games publisher. I'm like, this is like the episode of, and I use The Boys as a reference, where Homelander, the CEO had to slap him up and make him realize, like, no, we're not a superhero company. We're a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, we're
You are here because of Compound
hmm
V. We are pharmaceutical.
Yep.
We make drugs. That drug is the reason why you guys exist. So don't get it twisted. We are a pharmaceutical company. And people,
Yep.
just how the industry and how people talk about PlayStation, they because the games are great. They're goaties. But make no mistake,
Yeah.
when you look at the books, when you look at the revenue, most of their money comes from being a marketplace provider. It's that 30% that
Yep.
they get from third party sales. It's that 30% they get from money transactions. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
That's where the money comes in. All these, games that are played on PlayStation across the board, that's where the money is. It's all about the marketplace, not the first party. The first party is nowhere near the revenue of
Yeah.
everything else. As big as you think the first party is, it is nowhere
Yeah.
near the money they make from every other aspect of their business. They are not a
Exactly.
superhero company. They are a pharmaceutical company. That's how you have
Yeah.
to look
Third
at them,
party.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he, so
Think
The
about it.
first
Sony,
Third
party
party.
game, the first
yeah,
party games are the entryway drug.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's just like he said. They look at in the show The Boys. They look at Vought as a superhero company, and that's the Flash. That's whatever. But make no
Yeah.
mistake, pharmaceuticals their business. Marketplace is
Yeah.
their business. They want you to buy Hogwarts on PlayStation. They want you to buy,
Yes.
when Assassin's Creed come out, they want you to buy Assassin's Creed on PlayStation. Buying it on
Yep.
Steam does not help them.
Who
Every
was
every sell on
the third
Steam,
party market.
every sell on Xbox, every sell on any other platform but PlayStation is money out of their pocket. They
Money
want
comes
you
out the
guys,
Yep.
yeah. You know what I'm
whose
saying?
quote? Who quoted that? Who was that? Sean Layton.
Sean
Sean,
Layton.
Yeah, that was Sean
Yeah.
Lane. He had an interview. I'm gonna read the article later in full. I'll
I'm
send you the
gonna
link.
take it. Okay, I'm gonna take a different approach to that, and I may be the bad guy here. I
Okay.
think that was a good spin, and the reason why I say that was a good spin, whereas Sony relied more on third party as opposed to first party, and I'm specifically thinking from a PlayStation One generation perspective, is because of the fact that after a while, I do think that Sony's first person games during that time were really weak, and I'm gonna just say a couple of examples. So, when I think of Twisted Metal, I know there were about 4 of them on the original PlayStation, but
Mm-hmm.
only half of them was good. The first 2 were good, especially the second one. 3 and 4, there was definitely a drop in quality, and the fourth one was just trash. Siphon Filter, first Siphon Filter when that came out, to me, I think that game was, I think the first Siphon Filter gave Metal Gear Solid a run for his money. Tenchu, when Tenchu first came out, I think that game was really good, but when the subsequent ones came out, or rather when the sequels came out subsequently, they were they were bad. I don't think that Sony as a first party,
none of them
I
games
don't
were
think that
first
they really
party.
became a. I don't. Huh? What was that?
I don't know if any. I don't think Siphon Filter had been purchased yet with the
No, not
PS4
no.
on.
I don't think at that time, but my point that I was going was that, to me, I don't think that Sony didn't really become a first person powerhouse that we know of it as today until during the PlayStation 3 era.
I
But
disagree.
but even
They had the biggest game in the world, Gran Turismo.
That's true too.
yeah, one of the top selling games on the PS1 was Gran Turismo.
Yeah, every generation, Gran Turismo is, even this generation, Gran Turismo is their biggest seller.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
far, far and
I
they
think I
even
think I
talked
think
about
I,
that as well.
I think
That is the
Spider-Man and
face of
God of War took
PlayStation.
over now. I don't think
Yeah.
racing has that. But during the PS1, the top selling game, I'll put it this way: Gran Turismo is their number one selling franchise by a lot.
Yes.
It's like over 100
Yeah.
million by now.
Yeah,
By a
they've
lot.
Gran Turismo 7 is already at like 14 million sold. It surpassed Gran Turismo 3,
Yeah.
which was their previous bestseller. And this is in an era of in a modern era like now, right? So, Spider-Man is the face. I think it will, I agree with you. Spider-Man is like the face, it could be the face of PlayStation.
I mean,
Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, because they all sold over 30 million copies of their games. And I guess if you want to say, Horizon. I
I,
know a lot of people talk shit about Horizon, but that franchise has sold over 35 million. Like, it's hard to discount that.
they
Gran
got
Turismo has
stronger.
sold over 100 million. Yeah.
Yeah, they got stronger as a first part. There's no doubt about that. Starting with the
They
PS4, I mean,
reinforced
you
the
saw
PS3.
signs of it with the PS3. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
PS4, they
Yeah.
really blew up because like PS1, PS2 wouldn't
Yeah.
have multiple 10 million first party titles. PS4 blew up. God of War, like 18 million, 20 million. Horizon Zero Dawn, like 20 million. Spider-Man, like 20 million. Like, you didn't have that
Yeah.
on the PS1. So Holston, I do
Yeah.
agree that their first party lineup in strength isn't as strong as they are now. But even with as strong as they are now, their revenue is still nothing compared to what they're making from their third party 30% in money. In
Oh
fact,
yeah.
the number one specific revenue is money transaction. Specifically,
Right.
not even game sales. Money transactions from all these third party games, the free to plays, DLCs across everything. That's the majority of PlayStation money. That one simple thing,
Oh
which
no,
is insane.
I'm
You
not.
know?
Oh, I'm not even
Yeah.
arguing that. Like, there is no debate with me about that at all. I was just saying, as far as with with Sean Layton, and again, I'm just taking the a different approach. Whereas I don't think that, again, going back to the PlayStation 1 era, let's forget PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, because by PlayStation 2, Sony had truly established themselves.
Yeah.
But just going back to the PlayStation 1 because he said going back to the early days. I think that I am of the opinion that PlayStation, more people bought PlayStation not because of its first parties, but more people bought PlayStation specifically because of third parties like Final Fantasy
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 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 I agree. Absolutely. Right. Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid 1. I mean, the titles was crazy. The titles was crazy. The exclusives from third party that they got, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I mean, shit. I got my little book here full of PS1 games that somehow I never lost. Just maybe because I kept it. It's like one of the few things like
I
God,
Sony,
help me know where the console's at. I don't know I wish I knew where the PS1 console, but I moved so much in the military, I lose shit like every so often. But I never lost that. I was like, what the? I remember looking in my house. I'm like, what the hell is this CD case? And I opened it up. It's PS1 games. I still got Marvel vs. Capcom. That thing's like $200. Like being like
Marvel vs.
people
Capcom for the PlayStation 1?
Yeah, for the PS1. Like,
Man, I don't know how you did that, man.
hold on.
That was horrible.
Give me a second.
well, it was more about their console exclusives. Tenchu was a console exclusive. Siphon Filter was a console exclusive. And again, it worked. It did work. I mean, my quick PlayStation story is that I remember getting my income tax refund and I walked into Electronics Boutique, and better known by his gangster name EB Games now, and that's when I grabbed a PS1. But yeah, it's no, I understand. I mean, it's not a big deal. Yeah, but I do remember that when when on the boys when Homelander was in there and yeah, the leader of the vault was like, yeah,
He got them all. He got them all.
yeah. And then he
Get
got
that
he
laminated,
said the
Rock.
same thing he said the same thing to Butcher. He was like, Butcher was like, it's always been about the money. He was like, in the time of the United States of America, when has it ever not been about the money? So, but yeah, good. It's been a really good 30 years. Shout out to Sony, and I did upload it in the PS1, and hearing that thing move around, the same noise, I thought it was nostalgic.
That's my shit. I'm sorry, Craig. That's my shit. Mega Man X4.
Yeah,
Man.
those are all solid games. Yeah.
P Rock got all the
Nice.
oldies.
You need to get that
Nice.
laminated.
Wow, that's quite a collection. That's really cool.
Yeah, you need to get that laminated.
Now, Puerto Rock, show us your Xbox collection.
Yeah.
I got
man.
the OG. I got the OG Xbox. Don't play with me. But I got the modded
Nah,
one.
we
So all
want
the games are
we
inside
want
the
to see
hard
the
drive.
Xbox.
I
Nah,
got
we
no,
want to
it's
see the
all modded,
Xbox
dog.
One.
I got
Nah, we want to see the Xbox One
hell
collection.
no, that don't count. We OG, bro. We talking OG. The OG. That was the real Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was. Face off. Damn, you even play hockey.
Mhm.
I don't know the perfect weapon.
Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm just showing the chat. Look at that. NFL Game Day. What y'all know about that? Game Day '97.
Oh man, game day.
What y'all know
man.
about that?
Yeah, that was
Oh
bullshit.
man, they
That's
don't
what I
know
know.
about that.
Oh, Monster Rancher. Oh,
yeah.
damn. Oh
Dang, you
man.
got the whole thing, the whole
Yeah,
collection.
boy. Listen, man, I was like a Lance Corporal in the Marine. I was like, I didn't have enough money to hang out in the club, so I was just home playing games.
First Tomb Raider.
Wow, the Tomb Raider games.
Clock Tower. That was my younger brother game. He loved that game. Final Fantasy.
Of course.
I have that. I have the original case for that
7?
too.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the full case.
This one's 8.
Wow.
Right, and that's just
Nice.
I got another one. And then let's see what's in this one. This one right here. Of course, we got
Tekken 3. Tekken 2 and 3. Yeah.
Tekken 2 and 3.
Street Fighter Alpha 3. You know what's crazy about Street Fighter Alpha 3? That
was fun.
that was fun. That was Capcom's best 2D fighter on PlayStation, in my opinion.
I love how they had that mode
So
where
this one-
you could team up against Bison like the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
This was X-Men versus Street Fighter, and this is Marvel Superheroes.
Yeah, I go back on that one.
Oh,
Marvel
man.
Superheroes.
X-Men vs. Street Fighter. That was a classic.
Now on PlayStation,
Yeah, those are classics.
K1. I remember that. You know what? I
This is
remember
the first
Tobal.
Dynasty Warriors. And Tobu, y'all remember Tobu?
I remember Tobal. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. That
Yeah, I
man,
remember
I'm
that.
Yeah.
telling you, that game is
Wow.
that's old school.
Well, King of
King of
Fighters.
Fighters.
What is this? This one is Battle Arena Toshinden 2.
Dang.
Yep.
Soul
Hey,
Calibur.
Soul
that
Blade,
game put PlayStation
aka
on the
Soul
map for
Calibur.
me. That sold me on
This-
PlayStation, man.
Final Fantasy 9.
Oh,
Oh,
classic.
Oh
I
yeah.
never
They're
played that.
remaking it. They're
I'm telling you, man,
remastering
I was a
that. I
Final
think.
Fantasy
Yeah.
fiend. And then of course Fear
Yeah.
Factor.
I
Oh,
think I remember
yeah, I
that.
remember
My
that.
favorite game with
What-
lesbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that the cell shaded game?
Fuck it. Yeah, what?
Yeah. That,
Was it the
that
cell
game was,
shaded game
yeah,
with the
that
cell
was the
shaded
worst.
graphics?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. It was cartoonish.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
that game is
I'm
now
telling you, man,
considered
that
woke.
brought back,
Man,
that brought back.
very nice.
Yeah, man. Those are classics. I was so
Wow.
glad when I found this. I'm like, wow, I thought I lost this. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
I thought
some of
this-
your
Yeah.
games in your
I thought
collection,
this was
Rock.
gonna be like Funk Master Flex collection of rap CDs and shit.
Oh, man.
That's the throwbacks. You know what I'm saying? Happy 30th. You know what I'm saying? Happy 30th. Got to how to break out the
Most
collection.
definitely.
You know
Man,
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
I was a freshman in university when the PS1 dropped. I remember. I can't remember if it was the first E3 or if it was CES, but it was when I worked at when it used to be called Electronics Boutique before it became
Ooh, before Funko Land and Funko Land.
what this was during the time of Electronics Boutique, Software Etc., Captron, all of those.
Babbage's, yeah.
And yeah, Babbage's, and I was at a show. It was either the very, very first E3 because I attended that, or it was at a CES. But I just remember seeing, yeah, I gotta say it. It was the first time when they were demoing Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain,
Mm.
and I was just like, man, what is that? Like the graphics back then, you know what I mean? It looked amazing. And
Yeah.
then I just remember like seeing all those games on that were gonna be dropping on PlayStation, and it was just like, man, I need to take a look at this PlayStation thing. And man,
You know how you guys reminded me? I am missing a case because I don't have Metal Gear Solid 1 here. And Blood Omen. And I know I had those games too. I had Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, and Metal Gear Solid 1. Man,
yeah, I have all
so the
those in
chat-
physical
damn,
too.
the chat just brought my high down. I'm like, because somebody put in the chat saying, I know you got Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'm looking and I don't have it. So there's a third case that's missing. Shit. And Blood Omen I had as well. Siphon Filter I had. Oh shit! So who knows how many more games I'm missing right now? Siphon Filter, Blood Omen, Metal Gear Solid. Oh man, the original Tekken. That's not on there because I had that one as well. I had some basketball games that I remember because it wasn't just that. I played. There was some basketball games that I also had. I remember playing because I remember playing the Barracks Drunk and that stuff. Man, I just don't remember, but man, but that's good times, man. Ramon, I'm glad you're here, man. 30th anniversary. I know you celebrating. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
How's
yeah, I got home
how's
from
everything?
work. Oh, everything is going good, man. Everything is going good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, Eric Jackson was like, dude, make sure you update your PlayStation because the 30th anniversary, the goodies that they have in the UI. So I went and probably about an hour ago, I fired it up and did the update and everything. It's really nice. I like how you can choose all the themes, from each era. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I really like the that they did some nice things about it, and then they really know how to make an entrance with Blue Sky. Their first tweet was that video, and it's
Mm.
like you know
Oh, I gotta follow
that's
them
how
on
you
the
make an
chat.
entrance. That's how you step into the room with your coat on your shoulders.
And Xbox first tweet was everything's an Xbox. Oh, Blue Skies an Xbox.
Oh man.
Blue Skies is also an Xbox.
uh,
that's
all
that's
right.
how that's how that's how they
Oh
introduce
man.
themselves.
All right.
Yeah, so
I
what's
ain't
your
gonna say,
favorite
I ain't
game?
gonna
What
say
theme you
nothing about
running?
that.
What theme you running with right now?
I decided to do the 30th anniversary one, and
Oh, you
then
kept it. Okay.
yeah, and then when I get back in town, probably like if it's still running, like maybe switch it, once a week or
Oh,
every couple of days, switch it
all right.
between all the different ones.
It's that they're also good. You know. Even the PS3
Yeah,
one, I was like, wow, I remember that.
I know.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Well,
the
what's
PS3. I'm like,
They're all
whoa,
good. Yeah.
well,
huh?
what's
They're all
trippy
pretty
is
good.
I've been playing my PS3 because I've been going through the first two Dragon Age games. So seeing that
Mm.
PS3 theme, I was like, oh my god, a PS3 theme, but it's actually faster.
It's smooth. It's not laggy and stuff.
Everything's
It's
fast.
actually
Oh
smooth.
man.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
you don't
all
have to
right,
wait on
brother.
nothing.
Thank you. And then we got
By the
Extreme, my
way,
brother.
you
Oh,
may
what's
not
up?
know this, but the DualSense works on the PS3.
Yeah.
Really?
It absolutely does. You have to put it in sync mode, and then you have to put the PS3 to search for it, and it will show up, and it does work wirelessly.
Wow.
Obviously, you don't get like the rumble or anything,
Yeah, but
but you don't get the crone's hands, the crone's fingers from your hands curling up from
yeah,
that tiny
because you had the old
controller.
school. Oh wow,
Ex-
that's
Exactly. So if you need to go back to your PS3 for no backwards compatibility on PS5, you can
that's
use your DualSense.
well. There you go. All right, that's crazy. That's awesome. All right, glad you're here. And we got Extreme. What's going on, my brother? From down
Hey
under.
guys, how you guys doing?
How's everything? Happy 30th anniversary.
Thank you. I wasn't there for the PS1 because I was two at the time,
He's,
so I wasn't
he's,
quite born with a DualShock in my
I
hand, but
wasn't
I
ready
was there
there.
eventually. I
Okay,
skipped
we
the
got there.
PlayStation 1 generation.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you started with two?
yeah, started with the
Oh,
PlayStation 2.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's a good gen to start with. Definitely a
it's a
good
great
gen to start
gen.
with. Yeah.
But I've
Yeah,
got
it
to
really
say,
was.
I didn't have
Yeah.
that many games, because, poverty.
Of course.
But aside from that,
that's I say this almost every gamer's origin is you got a console or something, but you didn't have a lot of games because we were broke.
exactly,
You had to
exactly.
You
find a
played those
way.
same
So you played
1 to 3
anything.
games all year
Yep.
long.
Yeah, or you played the
Listen,
same game a lot.
Listen, FIFA 2004 was was definitely the game of the house. Then Gran
Still played
Turismo
it in
3.
2009.
Hey, listen, Gran Turismo is the one that, man, listen. I don't think I was ever good at it, but it's definitely the one that kept my attention the most, So
Yeah.
that's why when GT7 came, I was definitely like, yeah, this is the one I've got to get back into. But yeah, so was the FIFA, Gran Turismo. I had like a James Bond game, and then Tekken. There we go. So those were the origin story for my pretty much my gaming journey because it was my first console as well. So it's basically,
No.
the one after that. So yeah, anyways, celebration for all of you guys that have been there since the original PlayStation. All of the ones that actually were like on day one, especially for you guys. So that's fantastic. But yeah, it's a great celebration. I have to say though, with the whole PlayStation celebration themes, I'm gonna be contrarian here. I think they could have done a lot more. The backgrounds are not animated, and I was like, wait, so if you're gonna have an overlay, can't you animate it? And my favorite is the PlayStation 3 though. Just because of the sound. When you switch from icon to icon, that click that it makes is so distinctive. By the
Yeah.
way, I'm going through, so I've got the update and I'm going through it, and I'm like, yeah, this is nice, whatever. Then I do the PlayStation 1 one, and obviously I don't connect to it because I wasn't there. Then I do the PlayStation 2, and I'm like, okay, this is memories, but I'm like, you know what? This thing is overrated. I think I'm just gonna turn it off. Then I go to the PlayStation 3, and it hit me right in my guts, and I was like, God damn. I didn't even know I had nostalgia for this thing. So there we go. But yeah, it's cool. I wish they had done a bit more with it. I definitely wish that this for me it's actually the sound that I prefer over the overlay. I actually don't really like the overlay all that much. I think it just gets in the way of the UI. But yeah, I wish I could just turn the sound on. I wish I could just keep the sound of the PlayStation 3 UI and just keep that forever. I know this is a limited time thing, but there's nothing wrong with the sound. Like, what does it take away?
Mhm. So
I'll
let
say
me go.
this.
Let me go around the room. I have a question. So I'll start with Jay though. How do you feel about this being limited time? Do you think Sony should keep it? Does it make sense? Or it's just generally open mic. Screw it. It's not that huge of a topic, but I think they should keep it. Like I don't understand the limited
I don't know why
time.
it's limited. Yeah.
Did anybody have some input on that? Like you
They
created this, you put in the time for software development, and now it's there. Why take it away? Like what's the
It's the value of scarcity. That's probably why they're doing it. I don't agree
Yeah.
with it, but it's the value of scarcity.
that's garbage.
I also I
I
listen. I
get what you're
also think
saying.
that
But
I
God,
don't
that
think
is
they're gonna take it
such
away.
garbage.
I
You don't
also
think they're
think it's
taking?
not that
I
good
don't
from
think
a
they're gonna
UI
take it away.
perspective. Like it gets in the way of UI elements. Like if you've got certain games, it definitely gets in the way of the art. You know, I just feel like you should be able to turn the visual off, like keep the sounds and everything like that. Even with the sounds though, like it doesn't have the main menu music from each era. Like you still have like if you have like music on in the main menu, it's still the PlayStation 5 music. And I was like, why didn't you give
Oh,
me the
that's
full
right. The
experience?
yeah.
Like, why isn't there the PlayStation 3 main music menu music?
Mm,
So I was like, that's what I mean by they could have done a lot more. So, anyways, I think they should
good
keep all of the
point.
sound aspects. Like lean into it. Give me the main menu music, give me the startup sound, give me the startup animation, for each, whatever thing that I decide to do. And then yeah, stick to that. But the whole overlay graphical wise, I don't know. What did you guys think?
I didn't really have an
I
issue
thought it
with
was.
it.
Yeah,
I didn't even
I
think
thought
about it that
everything.
much.
I think everything came out great. Um,
Yeah.
None of us knew that this was going to happen, so it was kind of like a sneak surprise. You just boot your PS5 up, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you get that boom, that PlayStation One, and that everybody in stop what they're doing if you hear that sound, no matter where you are. That is the existence of most of our childhoods.
Oh yeah,
So
it caught me off guard. I wasn't even looking
it
at the
gets you in your
TV, and I
feelings.
heard that sound and stopped.
Yeah, it gets you in your feelings, and it's something special, and it is like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. And I get it. It may be timed. I ultimately think they're gonna just allow us to keep it. I think it's a stopgap to themes because that's probably one of the biggest requested things for the PlayStation 5 is to bring the themes back. People liked it on the PS3. People liked it on the PS4. It took a while to get it on PS4, and maybe they'll start off next year with granting us access to custom themes and stuff like that. So I don't. You
Hmm.
can clearly tell that they've been playing with the UI with some of the changes they've made recently.
You
Yeah,
know,
Um,
I don't think they'll. I think the PS1 thing, because that is the 30-year that they're celebrating. I think that
mhm,
will stay. I do think the 2, 3, and 4 will ultimately uh, disappear.
leave.
But I think the PS1 one, because JD was like when you hear that that iconic music come on, that I was like, oh wow, I forgot it did that when it came on. So that was
Mhm.
pretty cool. But yeah, I thought again, it's a nice way to celebrate their and they had a very good sale. And when you include their sale with the Black Friday sale, it's very difficult to miss out on some of these games. I saw Hogwarts for like $17. I saw Baldur's Gate for uh, 11 or $11.80. It was something like that. So
man,
um,
I gotta.
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it was something else. No, I was just saying it was a good. It's a good celebration and good for them. Good for them.
One thing I gotta say is the little details. Like, I had forgotten about the UI resolution until I fired up, until I fired this up, and I'm looking at the screen, and I'm like, this is so vibrant. Like, compared to the Xbox and Steam, it's just so vibrant and crisp. And I was just thinking about that. I'm like, man, even the UI, they make sure it's first class.
Yeah.
Like it's that UI, the colors, everything just pops like that. I'm assuming it's 4K because it is
Yeah,
crisp and bright, and it just like there's something psychological about having a display that having colors and things that are bright like that. It makes you want to stay there. You know,
it's
like it's
yes,
really well done.
quality. It reeks of quality. Like this is something. It's cool. It's functional. It's nice to be here. It's nice on. It's easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
It brings people in. And when you just throw stuff at it, like I mean, not to bring up Xbox, but they've never hammered out their UI. They're still working on it to this day of what they want Xbox UI to be. And it's and for whatever reason, if you can knock the UI out, then people will stay. People will spend a lot of time. I got the Rogue Ally. I rarely play that thing because the UI is just not pleasing, and it's still just Windows. It reminds me of if I'm at work working on a computer. It's like I don't want to deal with that.
Since the PS, well, like they're like in even going to the build quality of each launch console, it was always solid, but it wasn't until the PS3 that you really saw how they put a lot of effort into having like solid quality build to their consoles.
Yeah.
Because when I remember the PS, like the I didn't have a 360. Everybody, I was the only person among my friends who had only a PS3. Everybody had a 360, and I remember going over to my friend's house, and he's like, "Man, you gotta play this, blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's pretty cool." But then when it popped open the disc tray, I'm like, it just seemed like cheap plastic, and then when I held the controller in my hand ergonomically, it was fantastic. But again, like just the quality of the holding the controller, and even though the PS3, the second generation DualShock 3, the one that actually had the rumble back in it, even that
Hmm.
still had some heft to it, even if it was too small. It was still
Yeah.
there was some heft to it there, and then like the disc tray was internal, so the disc slides in. It was just solid quality. And then of course, we go to the PS4 and now the PS5. Like it has always been like a really solid, you know, substantial build quality from their controllers to their machines. Like I alternate between the Series X and the DualShock when I play on PC. And the series control is nice, but like the DualSense, I can play longer because it's just ergonomically well made, and it's just got weight to it, but not too much. It's just right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that the PS3 controller, if you ever try to go back to it after playing with a dual sense,
Oh no, you
the
can't.
thing the thing is tiny.
You
It's
have
so
arthritis.
small, man. It's like playing with some little rinky dink controller. It's super small. It's light, like there's nothing in it. It's like, man, it looks like one of those Wish, like you order it off of Timu or Wish. Like it
Yeah,
feels
man.
like that.
That's funny.
But the heft, once they went with the dual shock,
Yeah,
Yeah,
DualShock 4.
the dual shock
with the
4,
PS4, they were on the right
yeah,
Yeah,
track.
that's
when
when
they're
it
on the right
really.
track. And then once they came with the dual sense, it was over. Like it's they can't go back from
Best
it. You
controller I've
can't,
ever
like,
had in my life is the DualSense.
it
Best controller,
is.
hands down.
Oh yeah.
Dude, if you don't have, I think every PlayStation gamer should own a DualSense Edge. It feels like a gun. It has that heft, that weight, and that quality. It's a premium item. It
I don't know if
feels
I'll ever
premium.
have that.
No, I'm just saying you don't have to,
No,
but
no, no.
if
I
you
agree
held
with you
one
on
in
the
your
quality. I
hands,
just don't know if I can.
it's it feels perfect. It's like it's not too big, but it's quality. And that's the great thing. You can tell, like, they really put details and they really thought about that controller. To put the X triangle, the X circle, I mean the cross, the circle, or triangle, to put all those symbols on that controller so small that you would have to really just look at it to see it. They really kind of went out, right? They went out for it, and it just shows that they care.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, wow. Man, some good memory lanes. I'm talking about this. All right. Let me read the super chat. We got Glassdoor Gamer. Colt Eastwood looks defeated, depressed. PC Master Race won't accept gas. And Maddie told the truth finally. Shout out to the crew keeping it 100.
Yeah, I mean,
Shout
eventually
out to the crew
the
keeping
lies
it
are
100.
gonna run out. I think J
It said
Dub said,
PC Nation not taking in gas. They're like, nah, listen,
yeah.
Trump got elected. We're shutting down the border. No more refugees.
I think
He's
J
like, we're
Dub said
done.
it best on it.
He's like,
On
we're gonna
Yeah,
deport all
why
of
they're
them.
lying.
They're
yep.
gonna deport all the Xbox
The
refugees. Get
door,
out.
the door is closed. No more.
Yeah, J
Oh
Dub said
snap.
it best. He don't know why they're lying so much. At this point in time, they're just lying.
Yo, it's
So
Okay,
overtime, man.
Craig, it
crazy.
doesn't.
It's overtime.
Listen, Microsoft has paid these guys, flew them out, and these guys have lied, and Xbox is in a worse shape than it's ever been. None of it helped. So it's like, why are you still lying? Like
Yeah,
it hasn't helped,
yeah,
Even the
right?
trolling is
All this,
pathetic. I'm like, man,
yeah,
this is bad. These are bad jokes. they got no
it's
punchline.
it's
It's just
yeah,
sad.
it's
I'm like,
sad.
you
Yeah,
guys not even
it's
trolling
sad.
good anymore.
Oh, I had more
Yep.
respect for that. What's he call himself? Dirk Griggity. When he just came out and said something like, Xbox is still my favorite console to play on. Like, you don't have to make that declaration, but okay, that's all that needs to, as long as it's where you want to be at when you're gaming, if that's what you're doing, it's a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and play on an Xbox or a Nintendo or on PC, but stop with the line. I mean, we can all see what
Yeah.
what has happened here, and so Xbox is getting out of it. Anytime a console game comes out that's it's they're bragging about something called Stalker 2, even though the game was broken worse um than Cyberpunk. So it's to me, they just, like I said, I don't even respond anymore. I'm like, why are you all lying? You know?
I saw a clip of, I gotta check the whole podcast out, but Gas had solid Rev on there, and I heard it was pretty good. So solid Rev generally, even as a guest or even on his own shit, he does pretty good, stuff like that. But when I saw Gas, when Rev asked him, if he's an Xbox guy, what he likes about Xbox, when Gas answered he likes Xbox of what it could have been, I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm like, what? You like Xbox based on what you thought it could have been?
Yeah.
What? I still don't know what that means. I'll be honest. I mean, I know what it means verbally. I just don't get it. Like, if you're a product, I either like you because you're doing something, and if you're not doing what I like, then I don't like you. Like, I don't like a product based on what the product could be one day or what it should have been one day. That I don't buy products and enjoy products for what it could have done. That I don't know. Like, how about you guys? Do you get that? Like, I like the brand because of what it could have been. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
No,
I
no,
don't-
it
I
either
don't
does
get
what it's
that.
supposed. It either does what it's advertised to do, or it's
You
not. And
either
that's the whole
are,
thing.
or you
Yeah,
aren't.
the
Yeah,
Xbox is doing what it was advertised to do, and instead of them just saying, "Okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do," and leaving it there, they want to just keep making stuff up, showing PS4 games against Xbox games. Oh, look at this is not working right. It's kind of like, why are you lying? Everybody knows this at this point. So it's just.
I
it's not
enjoy
even
bottom
funny
shelf
anymore.
vodka because it could have been top shelf vodka.
Yeah,
What?
it could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
What are you
exactly.
talking about?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, what?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
that's how I'm gonna look at stuff right now. I'm gonna buy the worst shit. Like, why are you buying that stuff?
It-
Because it could have been great.
Could
You
have
know what?
been.
That's crazy. I actually like bottom shelf liquor as opposed to top shelf.
What the?
The
That's
reason
fine.
why? No,
Can we
I'm
stop
being,
pretending
and
it's
the
something
reason,
it's not? It's
the
bottom
reason,
shelf liquor. Let's not pretend it's something it's not.
no,
It's fine.
yeah,
to be
the
like,
reason being is because of top shelf liquor actually give me hangovers. Bottom shelf don't.
well, no, there you go. That's what I said before. It is silly.
My man
at
don't
this
like
point.
hangovers. He don't like to get fucked up. He like, I got a reputation
No.
to maintain. He's like, I got a reputation to maintain. So I'm gonna give you that bottom shelf stuff. All right. Let me get that Slovak
Nikolai.
vodka there. No, not great.
Nikolai
no,
Vladimir.
No. Give me American made vodka. Give me Patriots own.
Nah, I don't want that.
That's
Everclear.
has an American flag on it. Patriots own vodka. Made in America. Like what? Yo, Judge, you crazy, bro. shit. Now I know I ain't going drinking with your ass. I got the shots. When Judge says, "Hey, shots on me," no. I got this.
You end up with some nitrate in your shot.
Yo,
No.
he gonna give us shots of gin. Like what the fuck? Oh
my
man,
God.
you ever had that without knowing you had shots? That shit is terrible. So I had a
Gin
buddy
is
where he played a
terrible.
prank on us. Oh my god, he says, "Hey, rounds on me. Next shots on me." We're like, "All right, you got next shots and stuff like that." That motherfucker ordered gin. You ever try to down a shot of gin? Try it.
Fuck no.
Terrible. Gin with a drink is fine. Gin and tonic or something. But a shot? That
Yeah.
drink was not made. Everybody went, and he started laughing. Everybody spit it out. Like, what the fuck? That shit was terrible. Oh, man. That shit was nasty. Like, you want to play a prank? Shots of gin all around. Oh, that shit. Ugh. And don't tell him it's that. Oh, that shit. You can't do it. It's not made for that. Oh, shit. All right. Oh man, that's some funny stuff. All right, so everybody's here. The crew's here. Let's talk about Pisser is taking the piss. Like, what's going on here? Let's listen to a little snippet of Craig, who likes to call him Zaddy. You know, he likes to call these guys Zaddy. You know.
To move on to the next news
Let's see
topic.
what Zaddy got to say.
Okay, so this one, quote unquote, dropped yesterday. So we haven't had a huge amount of time to look at it, but some might say that we don't really need a huge amount of time to look at it. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which is an absolutely beautiful game, has now been, I was going to say upgraded, but I'm not sure it's the right word. A patch has come out for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora on the PlayStation 5 Professional. What it does is to bump up settings to the quality mode level, and it runs at 60 frames per second. It was 30 and 40 on the base unit. And it uses a dynamic resolution range between 720p and 1800p, I understand. And it uses PSSR for upscaling up to 4K. Now, I loaded up the patch yesterday, and the first thing I noticed was basically this. So you're sort of panning around on, this is literally entering a save point that I had. You sort of pan around, and there were issues. Alex, what did you make of what I've shared with you so far? It's not good, is it?
No, it is not good. And it follows the exact same kind of pattern that we saw with a number of other games that got PS5 Pro patches, where I wonder, like, after the patch was implemented, how many eyes just looked at this subjectively and said, this is worth it? And you know,
the sort of flickering shadows, and there's something really odd going on there. And obviously the foliage side of things, the shimmer on foliage, which does seem to be a PSSR issue at this point.
It is, yeah. Which I think is related to the fact that the foliage there is lit via their GI. So like indirect lighting, specularity, as in reflections, don't seem to go really well with PSSR at these presumably lower internal resolutions, especially in these titles from Massive for some whatever reason. And my goodness, it's just not good looking. I think in a case like this, where, you know, you just sit still and you can see all the shimmer, even without not rotating the camera, like you also sent me a video of it, Rich, where I think, I mean, FSR in this game wasn't great. And I think that was one of the things that we said wasn't so awesome, was like the performance mode image quality. I thought it looked really, really rough, actually. Low resolutions FSR, right? But here it's also
Twisters is streaming exclusive.
I think I'm gonna stop right there. So here's my question, right? So there's a few games having issues. This is the latest one, right? My thought is, and I like he mentioned it, did anybody not look at this game and be like, yeah, we're not doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the quality control? I know if you look on the internet and you look in, you know, social media, whatever, they're like, oh, PSSR sucks, whatever. Well, if PSSR sucks, how come other games have implemented well, right? If something sucks, then the majority of somebody shouldn't be able to use it well, right? And we already have lots of examples of PSSR being implemented and looking phenomenal, right? So my thing is more like, if you were Ubisoft and you did this and you see the game, how did nobody be like, man, this looks like ass? Yeah, we're not doing this. We're not going to force. It's just, we just might as well not release PS4 enhancement yet. Let's get with Sony, or let's figure it out, or just not do it at all. Don't say Avatar is PS5 Pro enhanced. Like, I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to. I'll start with Extreme, right? Extreme usually has quality, or J-Dub, who really want to get their bars out. Because in my opinion, there should be somebody, like, if you need more time for this to get quality control, then take the time. There's no rush. You're not gonna die. Not like the game's gonna sell 1 million copies with a PS Pro enhancement patch.
I'll go.
If anything, you're hurting yourself.
Here's the thing, Motiram. A lot of these games that they're talking about, they're already old games. They're not new games. They're not built with the PS5 Pro in mind. The ones that are built with the PS5 Pro in mind, obviously you see the benefits of it. These guys are taking a lot of these games, right? I mean, they're doing these comparison to most of the games They did it before they even had the patch, and now they're doing it after the patch. Um, and keep in mind, a lot of these developers, after the game is already released, they're not going to go in and sit there and allocate tons of resources to try to make this stuff look better, and they're not going to do it. We won't see the real benefits until we get these newer games that are coming out, not the old ones. Um, the old games that are patched, that the developers really did take some time to do it, great. That's an added bonus. But I never once thought that developers are going to go and spend a ton of resources on having a bunch of old games to come to, to rework everything to get this stuff working. This is the first iteration of it. The Pro's been out for what, a month? I would say let's talk next year. Let's talk next summer for all those games going forward. If there's any issues and stuff like that, then that would be I think that would be an issue. But I think it's more so of a nothing burger. The fact that you get better frames, right? In all the games, you're getting better frames. You get higher resolution. Now, I think the discrepancy is when it comes to Digital Foundry, when you zoom in 400%, you see some shimmering here and there, and there's some things that the developer clearly could have took some time to make better. But I never expected these developers to go on these old games and spend a lot of time on it. They've already made their money. They're probably working on a new IP. So, but kudos to those developers that even just made a patch because they didn't have to. A lot of them didn't. But I want to say I wouldn't take that as, yeah, because I see obviously you see kids smoothing them out there. Oh, I wasted my money buying a pro because X, Y, and Z.
Oh, good
They're
God.
saying that they're saying that for their purpose, right? They're not being genuine. They're not being, because clearly there's anybody who bought a PS5 Pro. If you boot up in most of your PS5 games, the ones that are Pro enhanced, you see tangible difference. You see steady, if not higher frame rate. You see a steady frame rate, higher resolution, better graphics, ray tracing, and stuff like that. But so I think it's a nothing burger. And let's not think for a second that Digital Foundry doesn't have a vested interest in making every single console even, so they can keep doing videos, so they can not piss off one over the other. They make more money by doing more videos that way and keeping things even. They don't want to go out there and say, yeah, the PS5 Pro is running these games better, higher resolution, more so than the Xbox. They're not going to do that comparison. They don't want to even talk about that. But they will go in, zoom in 400%, tell you, yeah, they should have did this, they should have did that. This doesn't look how that doesn't look. But they have, to their credit, they have said a lot of these games look better than the PC ports, um, for whatever reason, because PC has the shimmering, the stutters, and all kind of other stuff. But I think for people who are going to try to play that role, oh, this is trash and it's the console's fault. It's not. Developers are taking old code, and we know this. We've seen this before when we've seen regular PS5 games stomp out the Xbox Series X, right? And eventually they'll come out with a patch that'll make them even, or maybe the Xbox will be a little bit more, a little bit more advantage or something. So we see this back in play in the console war all the time. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I'll just simply say that it's the same thing, and I agree with Moore's Law is dead. I'm just going to quote him because I've been saying this for months. You buy the PS5 Pro to play the PlayStation game, not the Square Enix games, not the CD Projekt Red games, not the Rockstar games. None of that is. You are supposed to concentrate on the Sony games that they have. That's why when we first saw it, they showed you mostly first party titles. And it's the first iteration. FSR1 had issues, which I mean, it's expected. The NVIDIA DL, what AA or DLS,
DLSS. Yep.
yeah, that had issues. So, and it's a working technology with machine learning, so it will get better in each iteration. So, but I agree, the disingenuousness of it. I really don't care what Digital Foundry says, especially when you have a grown man up there wearing a dress. just giving you his opinion. Who cares what he says? I agree with J Dub. It is about are like admitting, yeah, the PlayStation 5 Pro is better, but they want to say it's not that much better. That way, the people who do not have one because they're broke or they just don't want one, they don't. Oh, I get to say it. I finally get to say it. They don't feel
Damn.
some kind of way. They don't feel some kind of way. But yeah, I mean, look, a really good friend of mine has an Xbox. He's a better TV than I do, and he has Dragon Age, and I've got it, and he just played around with it for the game. Pause. He was playing it for like 20 minutes. Yeah, this runs and looks better than it does on my Xbox. He said it's clear, and he's got a better TV than me, and he's like, yeah, this looks better. This sounds better. It runs more stable. There's no screen tearing, things like that. So, and that's what I would recommend everybody go in and understand that. It's like if you go by between the B series, C series, and G series on LG TVs, the G is the brightest ever. It's the brightest TV that LG made. So if you are in a dim lit room, maybe look at the G. If you're already in a dark room, then the B or C will work fine. But yeah, there's a lot of disingenuous people. There's a lot of people out there who are just mad that this is out and they can't afford it. And it does make most, which is, again, they have over 100 games out. So if you're going to tell me out of 100 games, there's 7 to 10 of them that they're, like J-Dub said, they're using older code, or maybe they didn't get the dev kits at a certain time. That's fine. I'm more worried about the 60 frames and the better graphics. That's for me personally. If you bought it for something else, that's on you. Should have done your homework.
I'm gonna go a different route. I agree with J Dub and Craig to a certain extent. I said a couple of months ago that Digital Foundry practices yellow journalism, and I stand by that point. And as far as Ubisoft, I think Ubisoft is really schizophrenic. On one hand, with Ubisoft, going back to Assassin's Creed Unity, that game was clearly made for a future generations outside of the PlayStation 4, or at least when they created that game, the outside of the most powerful PCs, you could there wasn't the consoles at that time between the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, even though they were new, they couldn't handle Assassin's Creed Unity, whereas they were pushing technology. But on the other hand, and I said this about Ubisoft before, was that when because they're doing some things that are very reminiscent of when PlayStation 4 Pro first came out, and they weren't really pushing the technology. So to me, it's looking a little bit spooky as far as with them. As far as PlayStation 5 Pro, if it's worth it or not, being at $700, I always think that when you buy, once you buy new technology or upgraded technology, you're more or less of the, for lack of a better term, you're the guinea pig as far as testing it. I still think that it's worth it because you have, Celeblade is a good example. To me, Celeblade personifies, and same thing with not Grand Theft, with Gran Turismo 7 on PlayStation 5 Pro. On PlayStation 5. Those two games, they really legitimize the reason of having the PlayStation 5 Pro in the first place. More so Celebrate than anything else, as far as with the different options, and all of the options, every single last option was better or runs better than it did on the original PlayStation 5. So I think it really does come down to the amount of work a developer wants to do. And when I say that, because I put PSSR in the same category as FSR and DLSS. My understanding when these upscaling techniques first came out was that they were supposed to supplement, being able to get to higher frames, being able to get to higher frames, from a lower frame. But it seems as though that these upscaling techniques are nothing more than a crutch for certain developers, whereas to me it don't make any sense. And I think, matter of fact, I want to say it was probably the Avatar game, because I got that game, whereas they're trying to upscale to 4K from a 720p, whereas I believe that the lower the resolution, the more chance of the upscaler not working correctly or not working as it's intended. So I think there is a lot of um, um, a lot of laziness on certain developers, in this case Ubisoft. And going back to Digital Foundry, I think Digital Foundry one week is like, oh, PS5 is worth it, and then the next week, it's like, oh, it's not really worth it, and we're finding all of these things that's wrong with it. So to me, it's like it's spooky right now, but we're it's like you said, it's only a month old at this point, and I don't who expect things to be perfect within a month.
Anybody else?
Okay, can I hit it?
Yeah, go ahead, hit it up.
Yeah. So listen. First of all, I switch headphones, which makes my voice sound different. So sorry about that. Just kind of got to recalibrate to that. Yeah. So what was I going to say? I was going to say that the biggest mistake that they have done here, Ubisoft, is that they have disabled the standard modes for the PlayStation 5 base. And I think that's a huge mistake, no matter what point in the life cycle you are in. Even if you think that your implementation of PSSR is absolutely the best and is giving you great results, I think that it behooves you to always give the customer the choice to go back, because you don't know every single person's situation or permutation. Some people are playing on monitors, some people are playing on TVs. Some people may want to, do weird things with the product that you may not expect. So you should always kind of give people all access to the base modes. On top of that, this mode appears to be obviously worse than what they had before. So yeah, they should have included the base modes, because this is a nascent technology. But also, these growing pains are things that you would have expected, because this is a different way of doing things, and developers they have to get used to it, right, in order to be able to maximize what they're able to do with it. So it's not it's not surprising that there are certain issues, but I do think that overall the technology is supposed to make every game better. I think that it's supposed to even reach backwards into the PlayStation 4 catalog and improves those things. Now, obviously, that's just the PlayStation 5 Pro, not necessarily the PSSR component. But I do think that when you buy this premium product, whether it uses PSSR or not, you are supposed to get a better performance. Like, that is pretty much what you sign up for. Like J-Dub was saying, there's definitely going to be a kind of like, I guess, a decreased return on investment the further back you go. Like, no one is going to go back to a PlayStation 4 game and, get a PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced. Well, that's not going to happen. But going forward, we should see better performance. But again, this is one of those things where, as an early adopter, you sort of pave the way for other people to have a better experience, right? These growing pains that Ubisoft is going through with Avatar and other developers are also seeing are going to allow them to develop better games that fit the technology going to the PlayStation 6 generation, so on and so forth. So, yeah, it sucks, especially if this was a game that you were really looking forward to. And then you not only get the PlayStation 5 Pro, you get the game, and then you put it in and you realize that it's actually worse than what you had before, and you can't even go back to the default modes. So I think that especially during this period, like this first year, Sony should mandate, hey, you can't take away the base PS5 modes just in case while we get this shit ironed out. And then, after that, I suppose what they should do, I honestly think they should never take away the base PS5 modes. I don't see a reason. I don't think it's that confusing. If PC users can, learn 17 different sliders for everything, I think console users can learn 6 different modes. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, is it new for console gaming? Sure, but it's not like, it's a bit like the screwdriver, how people couldn't, install an SSD in the PS5. People are really like, oh my god, there's 7 modes on console now. I'm like, yeah, but it's not that confusing. Listen, it's like, I wish that every single game told you exactly what the mode does and targets, in the game, because sometimes they have something like favor quality, favor performance plus, and you're like, what the fuck's the difference? Now you have to go and you have to Google it and you have to be like, okay, if I favor quality, it's this resolution at 30 frames. If I favor performance, it's that resolution but at 60. If I do performance plus, it's the same as performance, but it's unlocked now. You know, I wish it would just say, like, don't call them fancy names. Don't call them like favor butterflies or twilight or, you know, just give me, you know, resolution target, frame rate target, locked or unlocked. I wish they would just do that so that people know what these settings are without having to Google for each particular game what every single mode is doing behind the scenes. But again, I feel like in a drop down of like, let's say even 7 or 9 different modes, I don't think it's that confusing. You know, like Insomniac has with Spider-Man 2. Not only do you have the basic general mode, but then you can choose your level of ray tracing and everything like that. And again, I think that's okay. I think that console consumers can handle 2 or 3 different sliders, even if each of those have you know, 5 or 6 things inside of there. So
But
in any
M
case, yeah,
that goes back to developers, right? It's up to the developer to do this stuff. It's not up for the hardware manufacturer to. Sony produced a console that gives you the expanded options to do more. It's up to the companies. Look what Sony did with their first party games, right? They left the old
yeah,
modes in there, but they gave you the pro modes,
exactly.
pro mode. They did that, but at some point, who do you blame? Do you blame the company who made the hardware, or do you blame the developers? It's up to the developers. Some of these developers, they really knocked it out the park. They're very thorough. Like the Callisto Protocol, which is an old game, right? That game came out last year, but they decided to go make it 8K, work in all the features, and ray tracing and all that stuff, and 4K 60. But
Well,
some other developers, they decide, like Ubisoft, right? It's
Hey,
Ubisoft. What did you expect? They do that on their own games.
yeah,
hey,
and I don't
let's
I don't blame the developers. I mean, I didn't I mean, when I bought mine, I did not expect every single developer to support it. I was actually, when I read that list, not out loud, but I was reading some of the games, like, oh, it's got more third-party support than the PS4 Pro did. So, and that's kind of what the difference was. But yeah, Dragon Age looks great. Final Fantasy Rebirth looks fantastic. So other games are getting the Warhammer, whatever, the Space Marine, fine, I mean, whatever they call it itself. It allegedly has much better frame right now. Again, I haven't played it, so but yeah, the VR stuff is you do see a difference with the VR if you had that type of support. So it's just that's what I said. I can't really blame the developers because I don't expect CD Projekt Red to take a PS4 game in Cyberpunk and go backwards when the same people that say they should go back and do something will also podcast and say we want to see when the CD Projekt Red going to really start working on it.
man. With all due respect, Craig, fuck that. Let's blame the developers.
I
Let's go
I
back and blame Ubisoft.
I do though. I agree because like CD Projekt Red, they're not doing it, and that's fine. Just don't do it, right? Like Ubisoft did it, and it's not good. Like they had to know. Like my main thing was, it's not good, so why are you doing it? Just don't do it then. If you're gonna half-ass it, no one's forcing you to half-ass it. Like J Dub said, it's all about the future titles, right? All the past titles, no one really cares. Advertise the whole game, so then why even bother doing it in the first place, right? If you're gonna do it right, or don't do it at all. Or maybe this is just lessons learned. But if you're gonna do lessons learned, do the smart thing, kind of like what Extreme said, is still have the PS5 modes as an option, right? But my main thing is like it's no different than how we criticize Microsoft for showing Halo at first. Like you had to know look like shit. Like, do these guys not look at their own games? Do they just like type a file, get AI involved, and then just launch the title? And then, once the game's out in the wilds, they look on Digital Foundry on the internet. They're like, oh shit, our own game looks like shit. Like, they have to know how their own games look. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like, you decided to do this. It doesn't look good, yet you decided to launch it. Why even bother? Like, don't even do it then. Like, what, it doesn't make the technology look good. And I understand what J-Dub said, right? To a certain point, it's all about the future technologies. But right now, this is all what people got to go by in terms of how the technology is, right? Now, there are more good than bad examples. There's a lot more good. But as we all know, the bad is what trends the most. You don't get engagement over hyping good stuff. You get engagement, social media traction, hyping the bad stuff. And then especially coming to PlayStation, where you get even more media engagement, trashing PlayStation because it is the winner of this gen. It's the top dog, right? You know, when you're the top dog, you talk more trash about, you know, Kansas City Chiefs. You don't get nothing talking shit about the New York Giants. Like, what do you get out of talking trash to the New York Giants? The team sucks. No one cares. Everybody knows. But you go after the Chiefs, like, oh my God, the NFL's cheating. Oh my God, it's rigged. Oh my God, Taylor Swift. That's where all the engagement's at. Is the Kansas City Chief hate, because they're the top team so far in the league. You're not gonna get nothing making fun of the Jets. what engagement? Who's gonna talk to you and bother talking about the worst teams, right? So that's where the engagement is at, right? The engagement is at with the PlayStation. All eyes on PlayStation. It beat multiple consoles out the industry. It beat Sega out the industry. It beat Nintendo out of the home console industry. And it made Phil Spencer bend the knee, where Phil Spencer and Satya is talking about PlayStation, if anything, more than their own Xbox console at this point, right? But like with the games, if a developer is trying to use the technology for their games, I get what J-Dub is saying. It's an older game, but they're still doing it. And if you're gonna do it right, or just don't bother with it. Like, leave it alone. Like, no one really was begging for Avatar to get a PS5 Pro enhancement. Nobody was really diving into it.
The only reason why I know what J Dub and you are saying, Rock, but the only reason why I don't agree with it is because of, again, I don't think Ubisoft is getting enough slack. And the reason why I'm calling them schizophrenic is because Avatar came out in 2023, but it was another game that also came out in 2023 that uses PSSR technology, and that was the Crew Motorfest, and that game looks great. So I don't understand as to, all right, you got two games that came out relatively around the same time, whereas one game looks great and the other games look like trash, and it's like, well, the fuck are y'all doing? So I think, man, one day you just should have a segment whereas we just bash Ubisoft, because to me, I believe in accountability, and in this instance, Ubisoft needs to really. I'm pointing. If I had more than two fingers to point at Ubisoft, I would point. I will
Attack
point
those French
all my
assholes.
fingers. I will point all my fingers at fucking Ubisoft, because that's
The guy said
it don't make any fucking sense.
He went like this. He's doing Darth Vader. He's like,
exactly,
he's
just choking you.
He's about to choke Darth Vader. But that's the thing, and like, again, none of these games are mandatory on that. Like the F1 Racing, great example. The Crew, great example. There's a lot of great examples, third party, that went back and they did a great job with the PSSR. If like, to me, as a third party, if you're doing PSSR and you're doing a PS5 upgrade, you want to do it for a reason. You want your game to look better. If your game ends up looking worse and you're like, oh, we still ain't really mastered this, or for whatever reason it's not looking right, then just don't do it. Like, there's no reason to. Why would you put yourself out there and stuff like that, right? But again, you just brought up a great point. The Crew came around the same time frame, great example, but no one's going to talk about that. The truth is, majority of the games, have benefited from PS5. So there's a lot of examples that did phenomenal. There's a lot of examples that went above and beyond. Look at No Man's Sky. That motherfucker's an 8K. Huge. Right. There's some huge examples of games doing phenomenal, right? But that doesn't engage with media attention, right? Everybody's jumping on Avatar, and I will. You know what's funny? All those dudes talking about Avatar, I guarantee if I be like, let me see your gamer card, let me see your gamer tag or PSN ID.
You want to see the play tag?
Yeah,
we don't do that.
Played it.
We don't do that.
None of them played it.
We don't do that. We don't do playtime.
He said none of them played it.
We don't do playtime.
None of them played. I didn't play Avatar. I'm not really interested in the game, but none of them played it. Guarantee it, right? And stuff like that. But it doesn't dismiss the point that the game is a bad thing. So I look at Ubisoft like, if you should have known this looked bad, you shouldn't have done it. You should have just been like, you know what? It ain't worth it. Cancel it. Leave it as is. You're not gonna get extra cells. If you expected extra cells, then you got to release something that's eye popping and make people be like, holy shit, did you see Avatar? Look how gorgeous this looks now at 60 frames. Oh my God, they even added 8K mode. But this, what did they just made themselves look worse along with the technology? But I get the whole bashing the technology because it's the grifting on the PlayStation stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I get that. That's all.
So that for me is the part that I guess I don't understand, because all of these people, they understand this. When it came to DLSS or FSR, it's like nobody questioned the integrity or the merit of the technology itself. They were all like, yeah, there's room for improvement, but here we are seeing like good signs of things that are going to come. So, they were like, yeah, all great. We're all for it. And as they should have been, right? Like no one is over here mad that DLSS exists or that DLSS started the way that it did, especially because we saw a rapid progression. But if you think about what happened with DLSS, they sold you ray tracing with the 20 series, remember? Because that's when they started. Instead of GTX, it became RTX. And that thing is horrible on the 20 series card. They sold you entire hardware that literally could not support the technology that they were pushing forward. Then they did with the 30 series card, and it was okay. But it wasn't until the 40 series card, by the way, the third generation, where ray tracing actually became a thing.
I knew you were gonna say number 3. Just put it out there.
There
The
you
third
go.
generation.
There you
It's always
go.
the third
As I
generation.
always say. As I always say. But the thing is that the first 2 generations were completely sold a lie. Like, especially the 20 series generation. Because remember when the 20 series came out, it was a substantial bump in price without that much bump in performance as far as rasterization went, and then that they use ray tracing as their, kind of like, this is what we're doing now. This is why it's so much more expensive. And it was a lie. Like ray tracing on the 20 series card is pretty horrible. Unless you are again at like the 2080, when it's like kind of decent, but really it isn't there, because by the time they got to like the 3060, in terms of ray tracing, the 3060 is almost as good as the 2080, So, and now the 4060, I'm sure a 4060 card is actually way better at ray tracing than the 2080 ever was. So again, with the PlayStation 5 Pro, that's not going to happen. You're not seeing that happening across the board, where this promise of an upscaler is just complete garbage, where you're just like, nah, this thing won't be ready until the PlayStation 7. No, you're seeing good quality improvements. You're seeing really promising results. Like, we have at least 3 actual games, not experimental titles, not 8K textures loading in. We have Gran Turismo, we have that other driving game, is it F124? And we have No Man's Sky at 8K. And Gran Turismo has it at 8K 60. So it's like, this is impressive. This is results that you're getting day one. This isn't something that you're waiting for. This is something that, again, just a year ago, when I kept saying they need to have 8K games from their own first party, people were like, nah, this isn't going to be a 4090. And I was like, it doesn't matter what it's not going to be. What it does matter is you put it on the box and you are responsible to fulfill that promise. And there we go, lo and behold. So no, I think it's a lot of jealousy. I think that they do not expect PSSR to be as good as it is. And now they want to kind of like correct the ship and be like, oh no, don't worry, DLSS is always better. Like they are basically trying to reassure either themselves or the people that listen to them to be like, no, PC is still the place. And it's like, yeah, because PC, you have all those more power to throw at it. Notice that whenever they do these comparisons, they compare first of all, no one is comparing the PS5 Pro to a $700 PC. Despite all of the claims, like I haven't seen Digital Foundry once actually put together one of those PC part speaker builds.
I asked for that. I want
exactly.
to see the $700 PC and
exactly
crickets.
Like despite all of the brouhaha, I haven't seen one report of a person actually building one of these Frankenstein PCs, and then actually going and be like, yeah, there we go. What they will do, I think Linus Tech Tips does it, but what he does is that he always cheats. Always, what will he do? He always buys used parts over there to try to like really push the budget, and it always goes over anyway, and he never misses the specs anyway. And then what he will do is that when he's doing a comparison, if frame rate is higher on the PS5, he will go in and then he will change settings to make them higher on PC, but not accounting for the visual quality he just gave away, you know. And then if ray tracing is better on the PS5, then he'll go in and change settings so that it's more qualitative, but then not accounting for the frame rate. So he just changes depending like battle for battle, changes
whatever.
the settings. But every time he's giving up something else and he pretends like he didn't do that, you know. So you're just like, what are you guys doing? Like, yes, if you throw 3 to 4 times more money at any product, you should expect a better experience than even the premium version. You know, like if you're a high-end gaming PC, you have put in the money for that, you should see that return in performance. But they don't want to do that. They just want to put it up against the best of PC as if that was even representative. Like, don't you guys think that these whole, you know, battles against a 4080 or a 4090, is that even worth it when 99% of PC users don't even touch that? It's like, you know, you're just like, why? Why are you doing this? Better for a 4070. At least that's something that's a lot more like attainable, you know, for most people. Like the 70 series cards is like the middle ground where you have pushed into enough performance that you can probably keep up with the consoles or be ahead of them for years to come. So I think they should go compare it to something more like a mid-range PC, because most PC users are going to be able to actually attain that level of performance at some point in their PC journey. But yeah, in any case, this whole slander against the whole PlayStation 5 Pro and the PSSR, it's funny because it's also temporary. Because you also know that as this thing gets better, and it will, these people are only gonna get madder. So hey, you know what? We'll be here to see it.
So far, there's 5 games that are 8K on the PS5 Pro: Gran Turismo 7, F124, No Man's Sky, Redacted, and the Callisto Protocol, which was a recent announcement. So look at that.
Oh
right off the
yeah,
bat,
and
5
these are
games.
games, not experiences, not
No.
experiments, not tech
They're games.
demos. You know. And by the way, how many games like are actually like 8K or even on like a 4090? Like, you know, what's the equivalent of like F124? I think is on PC, right? Like, it's like, what does it take on PC to be able to push, you know, the same thing using the LSS, of course, and everything like that in order to push that. I don't know, this whole competition that people have created between PlayStation and PC, I just don't understand it, because
no one else.
it's never, yeah,
Who else? Who else are you gonna put PlayStation against? Like, who are you gonna use to talk shit against PlayStation? Xbox? Not even Microsoft does that anymore. Like,
I just want to quickly reiterate.
Like, who are you gonna use? There's no one left. There's no one left.
Truck.
They literally it's
Get
done.
on the podcast.
You know, now, you know, they're trying to do handheld wars. The people that don't like console wars, they're the front. And I'm paying attention because I'm not mentioning handheld wars. I'm just sitting back listening. I'm like, hold on. That's like a conversation for another time. But I'm sitting here listening. These motherfuckers they're the people who hate fanboys and console wars. They are making content and the first ones to bring up handheld wars. They're the first ones bringing it up. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest. That's not going to hit. No one's going to give a fuck. I don't give a shit what you say. Handheld wars is not a thing. That shit's not exciting. Because it's a tiny ass screen that's like 720p. Ain't nobody give a fuck. What are you going to argue? The shit's this big. It's like, not even, like, no. We're not doing that. Like,
can we be honest? Can we just be honest just for a little bit?
There's no argument on handheld wars. Ain't nobody gives a fuck.
If we just be honest, how is it that you think that, first of all, a console, right? A console can be almost any size. Like, if people really wanted, a console could be like the size of a desktop PC, like a full tower, if they wanted. There's no rule that says that consoles have to be small, right? Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, handhelds have to be. So I'm like, how do you think that Microsoft can out-engineer Sony on a handheld? Like, are you crazy? They've never done it before. Can we just talk about the fact that they've never done a handheld before? Like, when people are like handheld wars, I'm like, really? So you're gonna bet on Xbox in handheld? Like,
I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
Yo, you know what it is? It's like, you know how in Formula One they try to have rules that dictate what each each engine, each team can do with their cars, right? In order so that like the most wealthy team doesn't just always win the race, right? So they actually try to limit what the most wealthy teams can do in terms of like the R&D and the things that they can put in the car, because they kind of want it to be a fair race. It isn't, but that's why there's like back and forth. Sometimes Ferrari wins, sometimes it's like the McLaren team or the Mercedes team and everything like that, right? Because if they just let Ferrari, kind of like put whatever engine they wanted all the time, they probably will be the ones to win exclusively because they have the most money to put into it. But I'm like, that's kind of like console. In console is the opposite. As a console platform, as long as you have the money, you can put whatever you want in there. There's no limit to what you can do. It would be like if Formula One was like, yeah, we don't care about the rule, we don't care about being fair. Just go ahead and put whatever you want to put in. But then when it comes to handhelds, because of the restriction in form factor, it's almost like there's an oversight that's like, okay, now you only have this much to work with. This is all you get. You don't get to put more than that, no matter how much money you have. And I'm just like, so in that case, where things are constricted, you're going to bet on Xbox to be the ones to create a more, I guess, enticing product than PlayStation. And I'm just like, I don't see it, man. Like this whole handheld wars that they're trying to pivot to, I'm like, why are you trying to do this? Because if it becomes an actual thing, you've already lost. I'm sorry. Xbox will come out with a native running what they want, a handheld that runs games natively and everything. That shit will sell less than a Portal. I'm sorry, where do you think you like, who do you think Xbox is? It's not happening, especially not when they just murder the brand. I'm sorry, like, don't listen. If you're an Xbox fan, don't wish for this whole what is it, handheld war thing. You're not gonna win. Just don't. Just like I would never go and bet on fair games. I'm not gonna win there. I know it. You know it. Okay? Don't bet on an Xbox handheld. Like, you should desire it, want it for yourself because you would actually enjoy that product and you want it to be from Xbox. Yes. But don't turn it into a war. Don't try to make it an Xbox versus PlayStation thing because you're always gonna lose there. Like there's not, just bet on the next console. It's better for you to bet on the next Xbox console than it is to bet on an Xbox handheld versus a PlayStation and a Nintendo handheld. Just forget about it.
Ouch. All right. Okay. Let's talk about the next topic. The Horizon ripoff. Light of Mortarium or something.
Is it Motiram or something?
Motiram?
It's a terrible name.
Yeah, it's like, so this is it right here. Yeah. Motiram. Yeah, Light of
Motiram.
God, that's a terrible name.
Damn.
Right?
Horrible
Like
name.
that, but
I'm just
but
gonna
this
call it
thing-
light.
Yeah, but this thing is crazy. This thing is
Blatant. It's
Yeah,
blatant.
yes.
Like,
This thing, like
Jesus
wow.
Christ.
Like, what are we doing here?
And guess what? Sony allowing it.
Yeah, like
They'll-
look
they'll
at
allow
this.
it.
This thing is like it does. Isn't this going to intrude on their plans? Because
Well,
don't they have
that's
an
a
actual
Tencent.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, that's a Tencent doing that.
This is
But
not Tencent
here's-
doing. Tencent's doing the ripoff.
Yeah, Tencent is doing a ripoff. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying it has anything to do with anything, but Tencent owns some of that Katakawa as well.
Yeah.
So maybe like,
The
listen, man, I'll let you rip off
conspiracy
some of my, let you
The
rip off some of my
conspiracy
games.
theorist
If you
Yeah,
let
from
us buy,
J-Dub.
if you let us buy Katakawa,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. So they'd be like, you know what? I'll allow it if you let me. If you don't interfere.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
yeah,
My
Sony
man
said
came in with the
nobody gonna
business.
buy it anyway.
He came in
though.
with the CFO knowledge.
Facts.
Because this shit is bad. Look at this.
Yeah,
Like if you told me this was the multiplayer for Horizon, I would believe it.
yeah.
I would absolutely
It's
believe it. I'm like, yeah,
bad.
makes sense. Look at this.
But it looks like a junky
Blatant
version of
ripoff.
Horizon.
Jesus Christ.
Like even
You know,
this,
you know,
like this looks like it's actually in the game. To be honest, I'd be like, yo, where the fuck that otter came from? I don't remember an otter being in Horizon, but like, yo, this is crazy.
And you know what, Puerto Rock? You know what's
Look at
crazy?
this.
That game isn't coming out for Xbox.
Oh, that's
It's from
oh,
it's from mobile and
like,
PlayStation and PC. It's crazy.
yo,
Even Sony said you can do it, but
but
whatever
yeah,
you
but you
do,
know,
don't
the
let it shit go
rules.
to Xbox.
Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
better not step. They told Tencent,
Hey,
you know
hey, they're
what?
not even gonna let
We're gonna let
Xbox
you
get a
live.
bootleg copy of the game.
No,
They said
you can't even
no.
get bootlegs on
You can't
Xbox.
get bootlegs. Yeah.
How
You
crazy
can't
is
get
that?
Legos or bootlegs. That's
A
crazy.
bootleg. This is a
That's
bootleg. This is on a
crazy.
phone. And
Yeah.
even Sony's like, we don't give a damn. Or even our
hmm
bootlegs
Even our
better not be on that
knockoffs.
thing. And these dudes think they're
Yeah.
gonna get God of War. You can't get a bootleg. Shout out to Double Barrel Gaming, Double Barrel.
Oh man,
You
brother,
can't get
broomstick, broomstick.
bootlegs. What's that dude's name from
Yeah,
Double Barrel? What's his name?
broomstick,
Boomstick. Boom.
broomstick. Yeah.
You can't get the $5 CDs on the corner from us.
That's
Yo,
crazy,
you think you're gonna
man.
get God of War? You can't Spider
Facts.
Man. You think you're gonna get Horizon? You can't get bootlegs. That's on
hmm
a phone. Yo, my man Boone, you can't get bootlegs. We're not gonna. Sony's like, no, not even the bootlegs. Nothing. They gets nothing. All right. Oh
hmm
man, this is wild. When I saw this, I'm like, yo, I haven't seen a blatant copy of. You know, if this was Nintendo, Nintendo'd be like, nah. We getting all the lawyers out. Nintendo would be quick with the lawyers. They will shut down Tencent right now.
hmm
Oh shit, this shit is wild, bro. And that it skipped Xbox too. That made it even funnier. I'm like, yo, this is the yo. I see some wild shit, but man,
Facts.
that's some crazy stuff. And then skipping Xbox, I'm like, man, these guys thinking they're gonna get God of War, and you can't
They
even
can't
get
get
this.
nothing.
It's on a
Yeah.
phone and
Yep.
PC.
The thing that I don't like about that game is that when you look at the gameplay, right? Like, yes, it looks like a mix of Monster Hunter. Obviously, the design of Horizon is literally just a carbon copy. Then you have, maybe like even like a Soulsborne type thing, and they also say like it's a survival crafting world. Okay, cool.
Oh shit,
The
that's a lot
thing
of
is,
shit. That's a lot
they've
of
put a
like
lot.
stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of different mixes. They've put a lot of effort into obviously the game and the product, but I'm like, I know that China is different, that they have different cultural like relationships with the whole infringements and copying, the idea of copying someone's like work over there is not frowned upon the way that it is in the West. So I guess we have to like account for those cultural differences. But for me, I'm just like, but you actually seem to have like a product that people will otherwise be interested in because Sony doesn't have a monopoly on the idea of fighting mechanical creatures, even if those creatures are part of the fauna, right? Like, yeah, but it's like you could have made a world that is basically the story of Horizon, but looks different enough from Horizon where people are like, yeah, there we go, right? But now it's like you copy things down to the minute
To the
detail. Like
color
it's not just
scheme,
like the over
the color
it's
schemes,
dude, everything. Like when you
everything.
hit and then the way that it highlights the part that you've hit, I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like you can scan animals. The little joints which are highlighted in like orange, like literally orange. You could have made it anything else. I
Green,
mean,
purple,
I can name
beige.
you the creatures from Horizon that they literally copied. I'm like, that's a Trematusk, that's a Broadhead. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, that's a Watcher. Like, what are you? And then they copied the ghost from freaking Destiny, and I'm just like, these ideas are not exclusive to Sony. They should not just be like, oh, Sony did it, Horizon did it, you can't do it again. Otherwise, we don't get an Uncharted after
Yeah,
Tomb Raider,
yeah.
right? Like it's okay, but when you look at the world of Tomb Raider and you look at the world of
It's
Uncharted,
different. It's
you can
different.
see there's difference, even though they are both supposed to be a photorealistic take on the planet. Like they're not alien worlds or whatever. But I'm just like, damn. Even the idea of the cauldrons and even the story, like I think there was a part where she falls into an underground old technology world, and that's
Where
where
she
she gets
from?
like her
Oh
focus
my
equivalent.
god!
And I'm just like, are you
Wow.
like, dude, what are you doing? And the thing is, it's like, I actually don't mind a remix. I love Horizon. I love Horizon. I don't think that she should have a monopoly of fighting giant mechanical creatures. Like, it's
But do
fun gameplay
but do
wise,
it in your own
you know?
way. Do it
Exactly.
in your own way. Be
make
creative
it
about it.
make it your own. Don't.
Yeah.
And the thing is, again, it's like it's not just white and white and blue or white and orange and this, but it's like the eyes of the machines. When they are docile, they are blue. When they are engaging you, they are
Red.
red. The fact that the lens flare is a whole rectilinear lens flare that you only get with certain lenses, like you have to get I forget exactly what the lenses are called to get that particular look, but it's a cinematography lens that people can use. But that was definitely a design choice that they did, right, artistically wise. But you could have just used a normal, like regular lens flare, that doesn't have that look. You could have done your own take because that lens flare, where it has that blue streak across horizontally, that isn't necessarily just like aesthetically better than the alternative. It's just a different look, But you went specifically after that. The red grass to hide in. I'm just like, couldn't you have made it blue and then made her hair blue? Because that's the justification in Horizon. In Horizon, the justification is that she's a redhead and these things are red. Therefore, she can conceal herself. It's a gameplay thing. But you went and you copied that. But then I think the lady is actually like a brunette, so it doesn't even work. Like you're not even actually blending in. So it's just like you really went out of your way. And then they have their own creatures. And the creatures that they created have a different kind of like design language than their Horizon creatures. And I'm like, but then why didn't you just go with that art style? Because when I look at those creatures, like they had like a whale that was flying or hovering some over water, and I'm like, that doesn't look like it comes from Horizon. So the thing is, like, you literally had your own design style that you could have brought forward, and you made a few other changes, and you would have been fine. And even the settlements, like I swear to you, you showed a photo of this settlement and it had like a very triangular shape, and I'm like, I've literally been to that place in Forbidden West. Like I can point it on the map. Which tribe uses this particular, kind of like architectural style, and it's just like, whoa. Why did you do this for a project that is otherwise super promising? Because I think people will be super interested in this. And I think people still will be. I think this will be a success. I honestly do. At least at launch. I think that if this game fails, it will not be because Sony sued them. It will not be because players decided to snub it. I think it generated, actually positive buzz because it looks so much like Horizon. And if it fails, I think it will simply be because it doesn't do well live service wise, or there's gameplay elements that are not particularly good. But yeah, I think that they should have just had their own design style so that people wouldn't focus on the bad and will actually see the good work that they've actually done. But I look forward to it coming out. I'm not opposed to trying it.
You gonna try it?
I'm not opposed to I'm not opposed to trying it because I would like to see if it comes out before the Horizons multiplayer thing or whatever. I would like to see, does this work, right? Does it actually work as a group? Does it work as a multiplayer thing? Obviously, again, the gameplay kind of like underpinnings might be different, but more creatures to fight. If it's anything half as good as Horizon, I'm sorry, but this actually is quite compelling. But I just wish that it wasn't so
blatant.
I guess it's just a cultural thing. Like I'm bothered by the fact that it's just ripping off someone else's work. Whereas I know that a lot of Chinese gamers, especially a lot of Chinese gamers that would not have played Horizon before, they're not gonna care. They're gonna be like, yeah, like if this is fun, this is fun.
Man, cultural appropriation on the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh man, J-Dub, you gotta do something. We need you in China. J-Dub, we need you to be part of Trump's cabinet, man. You gotta do something.
Don't put tariffs on this game.
We need you
I'm
to
working
stop
on it,
this.
brother.
All right, we need you on.
Hey.
We need you to be the only black man in Trump's cabinet.
Stop the steal. Stop the steal.
Hey, listen.
We need you.
Hey, Jada, put some tariffs on it. Put some tariffs on it, okay?
We need to tariff that game. 50%.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? 50%,
it's free to play, but we'll tariff it anyway.
Tariff the hell out of
we'll
that
tariff
game.
it anyway.
Oh,
all the microtransactions will be 80% more.
Tariff, that's it.
And China's gonna pay for it.
That's it, and they're gonna pay for. Oh man. Let me read the next super chat. I know. I'm sorry, it's been a little bit. I hope he's still in the chat. But you got a fellow photographer, Stony, with the super chat. He says, "This is off topic, but I got a question for Extreme. You getting that new 2870 f2 Master lens that Sony is dropping? Fellow photographer asking.
I'm gonna try to answer this with as
I
much
don't even know what
passion
the
and
hell you
emotion
talking
as
about.
possible. I'm gonna go super long. Okay. No, listen. The 20-70 Master is very compelling, very interesting. If I was looking for a zoom lens, I would definitely be considering it. But two things. Number one, the price. And at that price, I feel like I have to justify it with my work. At the moment, I much prefer having prime lenses. I got rid of all of my zoom lenses. I used to have a 70-200. I used to have the 24-70 G Master version 1. And I got rid of them because I just prefer primes. They are lighter, they are far more impactful. I like the look of them, and I also like the way that they constrict my actual photography so that I can actually focus on other things,
They make
but
you
whatever
better.
focal length. Exactly.
Yeah, they make you
So
a better photographer.
exactly. So right now I only have primes in my collection. So I have a lot of primes. I have the 24, I have
Zeiss.
the 35. I have one Zeiss. I have the 55 Zeiss, and that's one of my favorite lenses, even though I think I'm gonna sell it because I have a 24, I have a 55. Actually, I have two 24s. I love 24. I have two 24s. I have a 55. I have an 85. I have a 35. And between all of those, I don't need the 55 anymore. But the point is, I have that, and I have the 135 as well. I have the
Mm-hmm.
90 millimeter macro. I have the 50 millimeter macro. And I think I also have a lens baby, and that one is an 85 lens baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of prime lenses, and I prefer to shoot prime lenses now. I also had the Sony 200 to 600, which they
Mm-hmm.
released about 2 or so years ago, and that was again a zoom lens. And I just don't like the look of zooms. Like I'm a bokeh guy, and I
Yeah.
just really want that image quality to be as high as possible. If I could, I would buy the $10,000 600 millimeter
Yeah.
f4
Prime.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll carry that big fucker around just to be able to have better. Because I just don't like the look of it. When I'm at f4 or f5.6, f6.3, I just hate the look. Like the background is just busy as fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm not going down to Antarctica where everything would just be beautiful in nature, and kind of like you can have a worse lens because your background kind of like supports the
Yeah.
image a little bit more. When you're in urban areas, being able to shoot at f2.8 or lower just gives you so much better detail. So that's why I prefer prime lenses now. But hey,
Mm-hmm.
J-Dub, if you got that 600 millimeter f4 and you're not using it, ship it down to Australia for your guy. So I'll take it.
Well, yeah, I don't have that one, but I have the complete master series lineup of lenses, of course. But you know what's crazy is they collect us now because I moved on to iPhone photography, and so my iPhone is my
Mm,
everything. And it just
send them
with
here.
so- with
I'll pay
social
for shipping.
media,
I'll pay for
everyone just
shipping.
wants pictures that they can post on Instagram or X or whatever, and that's good enough for them. That people don't print out pictures anymore. So I'm finding that line of work to just kind of basically go away. Even if you do weddings and stuff like I used to,
Yeah.
people are fine with just taking selfies and pictures with their phone and posting to Instagram.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's how people
I
operate
just
these
did a
days.
wedding
So
recently.
yeah,
And yeah, like obviously for me, I took 1,800 photos. I did it
yeah,
on Sunday, and I'm still go
hmm
scrolling through the photos. By now, all of the photos from
yeah,
the
and you're
event
only
from
going to
other
choose
people are
20
already
of them to give to them, right?
exactly,
So yeah,
and then I have to edit them and everything. So it's like a
yep,
2 week turnaround, maybe 1 week if I'm really quick about it. But
yeah,
then it's like people are literally live streaming these things now. So
yeah,
it's you're
yeah,
definitely kind
exactly.
of like on the back foot for these
Yep.
things. So yeah, but listen, J-Dub, listen, you know what? I won't even pay for shipping. Just send all of your lenses down. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. They're collecting dust
I
over
don't.
there. I will love them. Okay, I will love
Hey,
them,
hey, but
especially the primes.
hey, Santa Kratos may send you something, man. Santa
Santa
Kratos may send you a
Kratos.
There
care
you
package.
go. There you go.
Yeah,
Kratos
yeah,
claws. Kratos
yeah.
claws.
There
All
you go,
right.
Kratos claws.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next topic. So these bots, they care about console sales. Okay. So shout out to 100 Little Redbone. He said, "Wow, people, Xbox is dying." So he's celebrating of Xbox being the number one bestseller in Xbox consoles. and this shit spread like wildfire because nobody realized the category is Xbox consoles. So you got podcasters out here talking about it. Everybody's celebrating. Oh wow, look at that! See, people are buying Xbox consoles. We're number one. We're number one on Amazon. And I realized, no, bro, you're like number one in the Xbox category. So congratulations, you sold more than the Xbox One X. Great.
Yeah. It's sad days, man. It's sad days. I told you this last episode. Uh,
down
it's
bad.
it's sad, man. I thought I was going to be able to have fun with this stuff, and it's sad. And we've basically ran Post Up off. You're right. He's nowhere to be found anymore.
Oh
Tim
yeah, he's done.
Dog
He
and
admitted it. He
everybody
said,
else.
yeah, it's happened. He said it. He saw the light.
Yeah, yeah,
Poster saw the
yeah,
light. He
yeah,
says,
yeah.
yep, it's full sleep.
Yeah. So all we have left is Boomstick, and a couple other newcomers that it's I don't even listen to those guys. I don't even reply to their asinine takes because one thing I can say, right, at least with Tim Dog, with Crab, with even We Bleed Green and those guys, at least at some point, right, there was a logical going back and forth. They were able to hold the line while being rational in their thinking, in their hopes. They hope that Phil was going to buy all of these publishers and studios and make them exclusive. So they fought from that angle. These new guys now that just came here to grift for the last little pickings of the Titanic as it sinks, they're not even worth the conversation in their thinking.
This is
There's no
bad.
logic to that, and it's sad. Rather, it really is, and that's why you don't have people like Post Up anymore or the rest of those guys because they're like the nonsense that people just blabber. It's not even worth a reply back. And I just look and just keep scrolling. You know what it takes for me to look past easy slam dunking on Xbox. Do you know to have me to pass up that post or something like that? It takes a lot, and so that's why I say you know, I don't know, man. Just hopefully in the future somebody else can come step in the console realm and make a compelling argument and move things from that direction. I remember when Sega left. Things were kind of sad for a little while, but then Microsoft threw their hats in the ring. Hopefully somebody else can do that. There's always been
I don't
three
think anyone's gonna do
console
it, man.
war. We
Apple's
just
gonna
don't. I
come
think
into it.
so. I just think we just
Apple's
don't
gonna come
know
into
who
it.
it
Who do you
is.
think? Who do you think would step in?
Apple.
I don't want Apple. I don't want Google. I don't want
But who has the
anybody with
capital?
just unlimited
Apple.
amount of money, right? I
Yeah,
want
but
people to
Apple.
why would
come
Apple do
like
it though?
Sony did. So
What would be in it for Apple to get
Let me tell
into
you, because video
constantly?
games are going to be more and more influential. 10 years from now, video games will be like 2 or 3 times worth what music and film combined can do. Right now, they can just beat them. But 10 years from now, it will be bigger than sports and everything. Live music, it will just be the giant, and it will be silly for any company to not get in on it now. Especially with all of these companies going up for
But to
sale,
be a
or the studios
console
being
maker,
sold back and forth right now.
because you saw
Buy
Google.
them.
Google tried to do it, but they did a terrible
But Google
strategy.
didn't commit to it.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
did a
thing.
terrible
Like
strategy.
if
Apple has
Apple
set
did it,
install
they will
base
commit to it.
already. That's the scary part about it. They already have the install base. They would just have to create the games. And
Yeah.
since majority of games out there are multiplex anyway, they can just do the third party deals and the Maddens, 2Ks, the FIFAs and all that stuff is just going to come to their platform day one anyway. Now exclusivity, the exclusive software, that's going to make or break them, because even when Xbox came into the realm, they came with exclusive software. And so you know Halo, right? That was exclusive. That's what made or break them. What could Apple bring to the table IP wise that would make or break them? Because think about it, if
Everything.
we go back, which we just talked about, 30 this year is the 30-year anniversary. When Sony came into the game, they didn't come into the game um, having trillions of dollars. This was They had to get it from the mud. This thing that came with gaming, they were just supposed to make a CD drive for Nintendo. They weren't supposed to get in the full-fledged part of things, but they got in there. And like Sean Layden said, right? They just opened the platform to all these third-party developers, and they had like 20 to 22% of exclusive software uh, from their first party. And so if Apple can come in, the only thing that scares me about Apple is because they have so much money. If they make a big run at it, that could really, I don't trust them. I don't trust them in gaming enough for them to do right. They could come in and pull a Tencent, right? They could come in and just cheap the shit up with a bunch of freeware, shareware, microtransaction Latin. I mean, you've seen the Apple Game Store. You've seen that shit. It's just flooded with a bunch of crap that, but a lot of people download it. A lot of people, and unfortunately, we are the granddads of gaming right now, right? We are the OGs.
Yeah, with the
Um,
grandpas.
yeah, we're fighting. Think
Boomers.
about it, Puerto Rock. We're fighting, us boomers, right? We're the boomers of gaming. We're fighting this next wave of people that don't care about platforms. They don't care about anything. They'll download anything. Look at some of these guys, like PC guys. They don't care. They play games like Banana and shit like that. That's their number one games.
Banana.
Yeah. So imagine, Candy Crush type game. I don't know. And then most of them are knockoffs, right? Who knows? I just don't want them to cheapen gaming out. I want them to make a genuine run, put money behind it, make big blockbuster games that are worthwhile and not just a bunch of fillers. But I understand I'm a
I,
boomer in this aspect, and maybe that's what these future gamers want, a bunch of fillers. They don't care. They're not
I mean,
beholden to
listen.
anything.
I think that if Apple were to put their hat in the ring, they would do it in a big way. They have the capacity for it. They design their own chips, so they're
Yep.
already like hardware designers. They are
Yep.
good software designers. And while yes, their store is filled with like microtransaction bullshit, that doesn't come with their approval. That's just what third parties choose to do on the platform.
That's true.
When it comes to their own thing, like Apple Arcade doesn't support games with microtransactions. So they already
Yeah.
kind of have that thing, where this
Yeah.
is a subscription service. This is kind of like our kind of like consented games, and they refuse for them to have microtransactions in there because that's not the experience that they want to give. So it's not so much that I trust Apple, is that I trust Apple to be greedy enough to give this a go. Because again, this is the same reason that when I see people say that Xbox will stop producing consoles, I hesitate because I'm just like, this space is just too valuable. It's like walking out of a country that has like a gold rush, and you know that there's more gold to be found, more oil to be found in that country, but you want to pull out your troops. Like I'm just like, nah. You're gonna go in and you're gonna do what any European nation does, and you're gonna try to colonize that shit because you're greedy. So I trust Apple to do the same. I don't see them, also think about it. The way that Apple became what they are is by controlling the culture. When it came when it came to the iPod and iTunes, they dominated music. When it came to the smartphone and iPhones, they dominated, our communication platforms. Now they are losing on both of those fronts. Like iTunes isn't what it used to be. Does people even think about iTunes anymore? Does anyone even talk about iTunes anymore? The iPod is dead, obviously cannibalized by the iPhone. But even the iPhones, while they are, one of the biggest manufacturers and are going to keep a large portion of that, they are just going to see less and less ways to differentiate themselves over time from what the Android people can do. Because on someone on Android is coming out all the time. Now there's like nothing phones, which people are excited about. There's also the Google Pixel phones. Samsung has been a long time rival. But Huawei and everything else, if it wasn't for their whole US, ban and kind of like tense relations with China, Huawei probably would have made more headway. So it's like they're kind of fighting a losing battle. They need to be grabbing the culture by the balls somewhere else again. And so it's either getting to film you know, and obviously they've got like Apple TV and stuff like that that are trying to do, but they're not that successful there. By the way, apparently Apple TV has like really, really good shows, but they never advertise them. So I'm gonna need someone to confirm that in the chat because people always talk about like things like Foundation, and I hear about them like kind of like hearsay, but they don't seem to create as much of a buzz like an Arcane season 2 or a Squid Game or something like that, you know, like that. Just they seem to have good things, but are not the center of the culture anymore. And I think you don't stay $1 trillion company unless you actually move the way people that you influence the way people move. So I'm like, hey, listen, you are no longer there in music, you're not there in film. What is the next bastion? You're not going to get into print publishing, right? You're not going to do books. So what's the next thing that's left? Video games. And while Sony is obviously a big one, Nintendo is obviously huge. Microsoft has been there for 20 years. There's only three competitors in consoles. Just three. You compare that to any other market where you look at like music streaming, how many competitors are there? You know, you look at film producing and everything, how many competitors are there? You look at like Netflix and movie video on demand streaming, how many competitors do you have? In console gaming, you just have three. Like if you're fourth in console gaming, but you're pretty close fourth, you're pretty good. So it's like I don't see how Apple doesn't throw their hat in the ring.
I just don't think they're.
Yep.
I just don't think they're gonna be interested because again, with the console, if you're gonna make a console, you're making it because you want to compete for the marketplace. You want to go after the third party so people could be like, hey, buy majority of the stuff on our console, right? Apple doesn't have any first party developers, so it's not that. It's not like they're gonna try to be the Nintendo or try to be, you know, we're gonna have our own software development so we can have that Apple flavor
Yeah.
of console gaming. They don't have nobody, and there's no
But but
rumors of
but
them
but Puerto Rock,
purchasing AAA, so they don't have the
they have,
studios.
but they have with Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft don't.
What?
And that's users' data and credit cards already on file. The ease of use. Think about everybody that owns an iPhone, all those potential people, which most gamers own an iPhone, right? Just by chance. The way Apple suck you in with these things, pause, is they already have your data. They already have your credit card. They're gonna make it easy for you. Hey, buy this console or whatever they call it. Connect it to your TV. It'll do all your upscaling with all its chips, and it'll be the M5 Max chip or whatever kind of shit they label it. And people are gonna like it and they're gonna love it because it's Apple. Apple has that mind share, almost kind of like Nintendo gamers. They can't do wrong in people's eyes. And I think they have they'll have the proper marketing for it because nobody markets shit like Apple. They're like the kings of marketing. Um, the only way that will they be successful? I think they'll be more successful than Xbox ever had a chance of being successful. But when they're going against Sony, I think they'll just take over. They'll just be third place where Microsoft is now in gaming.
Mm.
That's why I think they can be a viable replacement for Microsoft. I think it's going to take them a long time to take down Sony, only because of the brand loyalty, also as well as something nobody else has. Those first party studios and the IP that they have are just it's just hard to overcome. It was hard for even Nintendo to overcome. It was hard for Microsoft with trillions of dollars to overcome. It was hard for Sega to overcome. It's just too hard. But the thing about Apple is they have the credit cards and they
They got
have
the
the
brand. They
unlimited
got the
amount of
name.
money.
They got the
Yes,
ecosystem.
yes,
Can we just also say they have the blank check to charge whatever they
yes,
want
Well,
for
yes.
their console? if Apple
That's
came
true.
with $1,000 console, people would be like, yeah, well, of course it's
People will
Apple.
get it. I'm
Like
not gonna
when
lie.
I say
We
$1,000 console from Sony or Xbox, people are like, oh my
You get
God,
crucified.
holy
yeah,
shit. But if I say
exactly.
$1,000 Apple console, people are
That's
like, yes,
cheap.
that's the
Oh,
starting
that's
price.
a good
Yeah, that's
deal.
the starting
That's a
price,
great
you
deal.
know? So
Is that the
listen,
mini? Is that the
they,
is that the
they
console
Don't
mini?
yeah.
What's the
Yeah.
pro?
the way that
What's
I
the?
will see
I
this
don't
is
know.
that they
Exactly.
I don't
come
know.
in with like 5 titles. They come in with a much higher end console than everybody else, you know.
Mm,
Because you take a look at I think I mentioned this last week. The new M4 Mac Mini.
yeah.
I don't have it, but I honestly suspect that it can do for me 90% of what my huge ass tower PC does or better.
Absolutely.
And that is
Absolutely.
their chip. That's because they designed the chip themselves and designed the operating and to make that work. If they can do
Mhm.
that for gaming, and then they can have something, let's say even the size of like an Xbox Series X, but something that is comparatively like the performance to size ratio, and even if they charge you a lot of money for that, but let's say it's like 1.5 times what the PlayStation 5 Pro can do, but you pay like 1.5 times or twice the price for it, people will take it. Like I'm sorry, people will adopt it. Like people,
Yeah.
I think people don't know what they want until it's in front of them. But if you could have something that is basically, let's say, as powerful as a 4080 or even better, and it is the size of like two Mac Minis stacked on top of that, or a Series X for like easier visualization, and it's part of the Apple ecosystem, you know, I'm sorry, like people are gonna jump at that because people will be like, now why would I go and spend, all of this money on a PC? They'll just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna get this thing, you know. And as far as everything else, they can figure it out. They have the money to be able to do it. The only thing is that, you know, right now they seem to be embroiled in this whole AI business, and I think this whole AI thing is just another like 3D TV kind of thing where companies are putting billions of dollars and consumers are just like, nah, we don't really want this. I don't know why, you're creating this thing. So I think when they get over the little, AI folly, remember
I don't think
Web
it's a folly.
3.0, how people thought um we were going to all be in Zoom sessions and virtual worlds and everything like that, and the metaverse. That was another folly. Like Facebook has spent billions of dollars losing to try to make that thing come true. When they get over this, I think they're going to look around and be like,
I
okay,
don't think it's
how
a
do we
folly.
control?
I think the difference between that is the virtual world, the metaverse, right? The metaverse or 3D
Mm-hmm.
TV is you're relying on the consumer to make successful by them participating. AI, you don't need the consumer, right? Because whatever product you're producing, let's say for example video games or movies or whatever, you're selling the movie, you're not selling the AI, right? So as long as people enjoy movies, people enjoy games, the back end of how that game is made is irrelevant. So like let's say if they're able to cut, 30% of the manpower because now they have AI tools that allow a lesser workforce to do the creation, the customer doesn't know that their next game or the next software or whatever movie or TV show, whatever they're buying, they don't know that AI helped create that stuff. Sure, there's going to be news and articles, but in the genuine sense, they're going to judge the product on the merit of the product, not that if AI was involved or not involved. So AI doesn't really need, you know, consumer to buy in unless you're talking about chat gpt and all these tools on how to create powerpoints and stuff like that directly, right? But for the most part, AI that helps manufacturing plants build cars, or AI that helps productivity on just writing reports and stuff like that for the business, for example lawyers and stuff like that, now they have AI tools, or eventually they'll have AI tools to help them write their cases and stuff like that. None of that's relying on the let's say the 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 plaintiff that hired the lawyer. You know what I'm saying? The plaintiff just cares
Mm-hmm.
about the lawyer. I shot 5 people. Get me off. I don't want to go to jail. Got you. And lawyer does whatever they do in the background. Or if you go to the doctor's office and stuff like that, and the doctor goes, "Hey, this is what I think is wrong. This is what we're gonna use," and all that stuff. You're like, "Okay, cool, doctor." You don't care in the background. He's utilizing the most advanced AI in medicine to help him formulate and deduce that stuff, combined with his or her own knowledge. Be like, you know what? I'm able to come up with remedies or solutions, because you know how it is, right? You ever saw like House, the TV show? You ever seen those shows?
Yeah.
Like House, right? It took him like 6 or 7 times to figure out by the end of the show, this is what it really was, right? But with AI, he could get that solution in the beginning. Like, why are we, try this. Nope, that didn't work. Try this. Oh shit, the person almost died. Try this. Oh shit, the guy's paralyzed. Try this. Oh shit, this didn't really work. Oh, I know what it is. It's actually this, and then the show ends, right? So now you get less and less practice and more on target solutions the first time or the second time around, right? So that's why AI could potentially do, not necessarily sell it directly to the customer where the customer has the opportunity to reject it. That's why I think is the difference between AI and stuff. And they're doing it in military, they're doing it in products, they're doing it in our weapon systems. It's insane. You know what I'm saying? So for example, AI missile systems is more about the boom and on target precision rather than the AI itself you're selling. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I don't think it's a phase like Meta. Meta's a phase because you rely people to participate in this thing, and most people are like, I'm not doing this shit. They're like, I ain't got time for that. AI, you don't have to sell it to the customer. You're just selling the products they normally would get and stuff. Or like you don't even realize it's AI, right? So like you buy refrigerators and you get a text saying, hey, you're out of milk, you're almost out of this, you're out of that. And the consumer will just be like, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that. Not realizing AI is helping you with that. So I think that's the difference with the AI. But I think that's a whole separate podcast. We could deep dive on that on a whole separate day. That should be on your channel.
Yeah.
We should talk about that on your channel. Because that should be,
Look, I definitely think when it comes to entertainment, because customers will have a negative reaction. Like, no one wants to see an AI generated film. But like you said, when it comes to actual tools and productivity, things that make people's jobs better, yeah, in that arena, AI is not a waste of time. But when I'm talking about Apple Intelligence, and what it is trying to do, there's components of it that are complete waste of time. Like being able to like generate things on your phone where you're like, oh, give me a prompt and generate this crappy little art. That's no one's really doing that. People want the photos and everything like that. I think what is going to get dangerous is when it blends something that is realistic with something that's AI. Like when you have you have my face, you right, and then you give me like an AI polished version of my face where it generates a brand new render, but it looks really really close because it's using the base kind of like template of my face. That's where I think people are going to use it.
That's
But
scary,
like you said,
An AI,
yeah,
imagine AI video and somebody puts on YouTube, you co-signing Starfield.
yeah.
People thought,
Listen,
yo, what
deepfake
happened?
videos.
And you be like, what the
Yeah,
fuck? That's not me. I didn't say that. Yeah, you did.
exactly.
That's you. Right down
They
to the
got your
pupils.
face.
And the
They
sweat.
caught you
Look at the
4K.
sweat.
Exactly.
Look at the sweat.
Exactly.
You're sweating. Oh, shit,
Exactly.
All right.
It'll be deep fakes and everything. But
Oh,
yeah.
that shit's crazy. That's why I think it's really scary, but who knows? No topic. So one more topic. So XDefiant is shutting down. Mark Rubin, Pixels of Mark, says, hello,
Oh.
XDefiant fans. I am unfortunately here today to announce that XDefiant will be shutting down. Starting today, December 3rd, 2024, new downloads and play registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future, exact date to be determined, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025. For those who purchased the Ultimate Founders Pack, you will receive a full refund. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. Those refunds should happen automatically within 8 weeks of today, and you can find more details on our official website, xdefiant.com. A few years ago, Ubisoft and the SF dev team embarked on a bold adventure to develop a new arcade shooter called XDefiant. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only were we trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking while bringing back a more old-school arcade shooter experience, but we were also diving into the high-risk, high-reward realm of free-to-play. And for that, I want to applaud not only the dev team, but also Ubisoft leadership for taking a chance. But you guys failed. Right over here, someone put, let me show this right here. This is just some of the games that failed this gen. XDefiant joins Vampire Blood Hunt, The Psycho Frontier, Gundam Evolution, Concord, Rogue Company, Super People 2, Friday the 13th, Knockout City, Rumbleverse, Crossfire X, Spellbreak, and Hyenas. lots of games failing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, what is the industry like? I think at this point, and team single player. I'm team single player, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I personally think, and I said this before, the industry's too late. Like, you're too late. Like, the magic of live service games happened last gen, right? And I said this, and I think the magic one, live service to me is much harder than anything else, because more than any other genre, more than any other style of gaming, because you are still competing with old shit as if they were new.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you create a new live service game today, you have to compete with Fortnite, which came out, what, 2015, 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're competing with Fortnite. You're competing with old games. Like, if I created a new single player game today, brand new, what am I competing with? That's not gonna nothing. Like, almost
Yeah,
all the old games
only the things that come out around the same
yeah,
time that you release. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, when you create a single player game, you're not really competing something unless you so happen to launch around the same time. But like, for example, if I make a brand new, like, for example, Wolverine, perfect example. It's not going to compete with Spider-Man because Spider-Man's old. Great game, but everybody moved on from it. You might have a few people waiting for a $10 sale, but Wolverine has no fear of being overshadowed by Spider-Man. We moved on. We're ready for the next one and the next one and the next one, right? But when you make a new live service game, you are competing with Fortnite. You are competing with Apex Legend. You are competing with these most played multiplayer games that are still relevant today as a brand new game. And they are the most played. So it's like, it's not even a joke. These games are played a lot. They're like brand new games every week. They just still have that flavor. They're stuck. So to me, the industry missed the boat, in my opinion, of the live service. You missed the boat. If you were gonna make a game and you thought it was gonna be hot, you should have done it last gen before it got established. Now you got all these games that are already established. They keep releasing seasons. They keep producing stuff that keeps getting the game better, or at the very least keeps people engaged. Now you introduce this brand new game. You might get some flavor, you might get some shine, but unless you're completely out of the box different, which I think is Helldivers did, because I think that's the key. Do something nobody else did. Completely different.
Yeah.
I think Helldivers
Not
did
even
that.
close, yeah.
Because there's nothing else like Helldivers. There's nothing that can replace Helldivers. So if you want that co-op, bug destroying, get together extraction type game, there's no other game that does it. They even actually have what's that Starship Trooper game, and it's nothing even like it. It's completely different. It's like a base defense game. So it's not even like Helldivers. Even the game that Helldivers got inspired from, or at least the IP, not the game, but the IP, Starship Troopers, because that's really, you can see where the influence is from, right? Even the original IP doesn't even do the game like Helldivers. Helldivers has got it hit. So really, if this industry wants to get into live service, you have to be absolutely, positively unique. Can't be a carbon copy of anything in any way, because these carbon copies are already established. I don't know. What do you guys think? This is why I say, man, Sony's really gonna put themselves in a bind, because you're gonna invest millions into the strategy. You better come right and not just get good, right? Because I understand, JW, you said get good, but from a technical standpoint, was there anything wrong with Concord? It was 60 FPS. The controls was good. The gameplay was smooth.
But
Like,
you're operating in a different realm. You're operating with gamers that already have their foundations there. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that could have, it's a lot of stuff that goes on with that.
yeah. But from a technical standpoint, it wasn't a flop in the terms of technical. Like, it wasn't this game is the frame rates hit, the targeting's wrong. Like, gameplay mechanics is terrible. It was a technically sound game, just nobody gave a damn about it. It wasn't. It was. They could play something else. Like, there was nothing unique about the game that be like, it was a hero shooter that nobody really cared about. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, Sony, they're gonna have to get their A game on. They're gonna have to create some unique, like, Fair Games. That better be some unique type game. When people play it, they're like, wow, this is a fresh take on a multiplayer game that we don't have already.
Here's the thing, right? Us gamers, and this, any company is going to run through this or have this thing.
You got gamers that say they want new experiences, they want new this and new that, but the numbers show, their buying habits show they don't. They only want the same old shit, the
Mm-hmm.
same old, these companies are in a catch 22. They want to jump on that money bandwagon that brings in their revenue consistently. They want to jump into the live service market because, like you said, a high risk, high reward. They want that high reward. Yes, they know it's a higher risk, but they're still willing to chance it. But gamers, we're very fickle. I mean, look right now, right? If you wanted to make a game, a really great game, you would kind of be a fool because to make a great try to attempt to make a great game in this day and age when everybody's complaining about fucking DUI, woke, and all kind of other bullshit that has nothing to do with games, right? So you're fighting forces that's out of your control. You're fighting asshats. You're fighting politics. You're fighting stuff that nobody had to fight before, right? Before this era, you could put games and you had great, you had a high chance of success rate. But now, even if you put out a 10 out of 10 game, it only takes one mistake. Somebody posting something on social media, or some Grums, that Grums guy saying, hey, I think this game has wokeism in it. And guess what? Because of social media, you got asshats that will try to boycott and have a success rate of trying to muddy the waters about your game and turn it into something that may not be successful. That's out of your hand. So, I don't know. Gamers, we say we want this, we say we want that, but the numbers clearly show. We see these MPD charts every month. We see the top played games, the top spending on games every month, and bruh, it is not none of these new experiences. It's not like they're not making new experiences and new games and they're trying. There's a shitload of them, new games that come that try to break the mold. It's just gamers tend to want the same shit over and over. And that is the problem. That's what Sony's gonna have to figure out. That's what Microsoft's gonna have to figure out. That's what even Apple, if they decide to get into the gaming full heartedly, gonna have to figure out. How do you maneuver through that? Like you said, Concord did not have a single technical issue wrong with it. What it had wrong with it, people said, "Oh, it's wokeism. It has pronouns," and from that, they didn't care about anything else. They did not care about how well the game played or anything else past that point, or the fact that the game was cheap and it gave you all the free content going forward. They didn't give a fuck. And how do you maneuver that? I don't know. Personally, I have no clue.
I think so. That's why I think single player has the advantage because you could create a new game or you could create a copycat, but there's nothing competing with that game because whatever it copied is long dead and already been played. So people are just moving on
Yeah.
with the next one. But if you make a live service multiplayer game that's like similar to a game that's already a live service game out, why would I want to play the new one when I already have the original that's already
Yep.
matured, already has more content? I probably already sunk $1,000 into it. I already have my crew, I already have my friends, I have my squad. Like everything, it's like when you try to make a live service game, think of what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to create a game, and you're trying to get people that probably already have thousands of dollars sunk in another game, with a crew, with a legacy, levels, seasons, like all this stuff. So you're doing more than just trying to compete with the game. You're trying to compete with pretty much years of investment. So like if you got people that's been playing Fortnite or whatever or Apex Legends since for 5, 6, 7 years and they still playing it, you're not pulling them. You're just not gonna pull them, right? So these live service games are comic. The only hope you do have, I think, is if you do something new and it's attractive, because it has to be both. It has to be new and attractive, right? Like Helldivers. I think that's why Helldivers hit, because Helldivers wasn't competing with any other game. There's no other game that did what Helldivers did. So when people play Helldivers, they enjoy that and they're like, you know what? This is not Fortnite. This is not Apex Legend. This is something cool and I love it and I'm gonna play. And sure, they might go back and forth between Fortnite and Helldivers, but at least Helldivers has its fan base because it's different. And I think that's the challenge, with all these live service games that are failing because they're
Yeah.
replicating someone else. And it's like, well, if you're doing what the originator is doing, I'll just stick with the originator because I already have the originator with thousands of hours and thousands of money. Or even if you didn't even pay anything, just the fact that you put in just the hours into the originator, you like, why would you leave? Like, why would you even bother just moving on to another thing? Especially, here's another thing: the live service games that's already in play. I think people have trust in longevity because even if you wanted
Yeah.
to play a new game, right? How long is it really gonna last? That would be another thing the gamer might thinking, oh, there's this new one, and then you're playing a little bit, and you're like, man, I don't know if this is gonna last. How is the developers gonna do seasons? Are they gonna keep up with the content? It's all these what ifs, and you might be like, you know what, it's a good game, but I'm not gonna invest in it because I'm not sure if it's even gonna be around. I'm just gonna go back to the game that I know is around. Fortnite ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Apex Legends is not going nowhere. We've been at this. Valorant is not going nowhere. We've been at this for a while. I'm good. This is my home. It's going to be around. I'm going to get new stuff and all that stuff. That could be another challenge. The lack of trust in the longevity of these new titles. Like, how long is it? Like, XDefiant. I guarantee somebody was playing it, and now it's gone. Because not enough people played it. So think about all the people that did commit to this game, and I'm playing it, and now you're being told. I guarantee some of those guys are like, I should have just stayed on Call of Duty Warzone then, if you're gonna do this shit, right? Because that was supposed to be like the Warzone killer, right? XDefiant.
Yep.
I think that was the game Warzone killer. So some people probably be like, yeah, this is much better than Warzone. Well, bitch, come back to Warzone. Welcome back, because XDefiant's gone, bro. And they're shutting down in June. But I guarantee as more people get this news, they're just gonna stop playing now. Because why wait till the last drop? Unless you're trying to get a trophy or something, just they're gonna head back to Warzone because this.
So yeah, can I just say though, talking about the multiplayer thing. Listen, I'm here to represent the multiplayer side, not the live service side. Okay.
Okay.
And here's what I mean by that. He's
like, you know what? I'm gonna change it up. What I meant
was I never changed it up. I was always multiplayer side. I was always multiplayer. Remember, I was always multiplayer. I said that.
He got a
but
new
here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Here's what I mean by it. Here's what I mean by this. MMOs, okay, used to be a huge thing, right? Remember, there was like an MMO coming out all of the time, and then eventually. Obviously World of Warcraft established itself, RuneScape established itself, there were some other things like EverQuest that established themselves. And then for the most part, they've kind of stayed a closed chapter. So here's what I will say. I agree with you that live service is pretty much a closed chapter as well. It will be extremely difficult to go up against a Fortnite, just the same way that if you and I wanted to start an MMO right now, it's like, first of all, who's really playing MMOs? Probably the people that are already playing MMOs that they love. And by now they've put tens of thousands of hours in it. Now you want to come up with a new MMO and you can't have a clan and you can't have clan battles and, all of these things that, were created over decades, but people will need them to be there from day one. Because it's something that I've always said and I've always agreed with you. The thing is, from the gate, you've got to be better than a person that's been there for 10 years. You can't be half a Fortnite. Like if a person created let's say a Fortnite inspired clone, but it didn't have the concerts and the big events and it new seasons basically dropping every 6 weeks, people will be like, nope, I'm going back. Like you have to come out and be better out the gate, which is obviously almost impossible. So I agree with you that the live service segment has closed. But for me, then, what I would say is that as a head of multiplayer side, you have to think about what is next, okay? And that's why I've always said, like, Sony needs to be very careful with the live service part because it's incredibly hard. And also, let's not forget that just like an MMO, it requires entire studios to be dedicated to that effort. This isn't just something that you have one team make on the side where you're like, oh, for the next 3 years, our studio is going to be split into the live service side over there and then the more single player side or the other thing over here. It doesn't work that way. In fact, you can't even have two successful live service games. Is there any company that actually has two successful live service games? Maybe Activision, because they have like the successful Call of Duty and Warzone. But
Or
you know,
Overwatch, I guess.
Overwatch?
Yeah, that's.
What do you mean? What else do they have?
That's part of Activision. Overwatch is theirs.
Oh, because they
No,
got
that's-
Overwatch and
they
thing.
got
Okay,
Call of Duty.
yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they got Overwatch, Call of
Yeah.
Duty, and they got World of Warcraft. Right.
You know, and then you
it.
can also think about the EAs with like the different sports games that might be successful.
Yeah, technically they are.
Yeah.
So college football.
Like Take-Two.
I would say EA is king because they found a way to sell the same game twice.
Yes.
And they're both successful. The college football
and they use
Madden.
the Ultimate Team framework across multiple titles, right? Because a lot of the EA Sports have Ultimate Team. I guess you could say Take-Two because they've got GTA Online and they also have like NBA 2K Online and everything like that. So they have that.
But you notice, like that's like when you think about it. Let's look at the biggest. When you think about it, the biggest live service online games. Call of Duty.
Battlefield isn't successful. Cake Batter, he's telling me that EA, Battlefield isn't successful right now. Like they have it, but it doesn't count.
Let's look at this. So you got Fortnite, which is you could arguably say number one more often than not. So that's epic.
Yeah.
But then you throw in Apex Legend, Madden, college football. That's all owned by EA. You got NBA 2K and GTA Online. That's Take-Two.
Yeah.
You got Call of Duty Warzone, Overwatch. That's Activision. So really, the majority is owned by like 4 publishers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like the top
Pretty
10
much,
is owned by like 4 people. Four. It's not even like individually. It's not like you have 10 games and like each one's an individual publisher. Like no, they like hogged. So really, like. They hog the majority of line shares of the most played multiplayer games right now, and that's like
live service games.
EA, Microsoft with Minecraft. Well, really, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even ABK. It's Microsoft because technically Microsoft got Minecraft, Call of Duty, Warzone, and Overwatch. That's one.
World of Warcraft as well.
They got 4.
They have from
and
Blizzard.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
That's one publisher already having 5. Take-Two got 2 of them. NBA 2K and GTA 5 Online. EA got 2 football games.
They've got
FIFA,
a few. They've got a Battlefield.
Football Club. That's 3.
Yeah,
that's the biggest.
Apex Legend.
That's one of the biggest. Yeah.
That's 4. Like, are you? So it's really all
they've
these
got Battlefields. Yeah. They're concentrated.
They're concentrated to 3 or 4 publishers.
Yeah.
So it's not even like. It's not even, you can't even say a good portion of the industry is benefiting from this. No, it's really 4, 5, 6 publishers that are really knocking it out.
Got the lion's share, and everything. And that's the thing, obviously if we bring in PC, we can also bring in Valve with like Team Fortress 2. I know Dota isn't theirs, but it's big on PC. They benefit a lot from it.
CSGO,
but in any case, what I was going to
Valve
say...
has CSGO. Right, that's theirs, right?
What I was going to say is that I don't think there's a single studio, because people were talking about publisher, but I don't think there's a single studio that has 2 successful live service games. Exactly. All of them are kind of like, you're under
Bungie
one publishing label, but
Bungie
you
might
have
be the first.
if they want to try. But
They've
to be
had
fair,
some
they're
hits.
sunsetting Destiny 2 at the moment, right? Because it's really at their final point. So they might transition. Yeah, they're gonna be like one of them is on live support or like kind of like end of life, support, and then the other one are going to try to get off the ground. But the thing is that like you said,
someone answered. Riot Games have Valorant and League of Legends. So there you go.
Yes, okay, that
Riot
will
Games.
count. That will count.
job.
Yeah. So definitely.
Thank you, Sensormore. Shout out to Sensormore.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, we have this situation where it's extremely difficult to break into, and it requires the entire studio to be fulfilled, basically, through it. I think that it's we're in an interesting stage, aren't we? Because we're in a stage where single player games are taking very long to come out as well, and studios are struggling to have multiple IPs running simultaneously as they realize they need to transition to that kind of output, which they didn't need to before. Because for the longest time, you could just focus on one game, get it out in 2 years, focus on the other game, get it out in 2 years. Now that games are taking 7 years, it's becoming quite apparent that okay, we have to have multiple teams going on at the same time and multiple things, and obviously they're struggling with that. But yeah, from a multiplayer side, I just feel like the live service chapter might be closed. Like maybe you will get 3 or 4 more breakout successes, in the thing. And when I mean breakout success, I don't mean not just at launch or the first year, but like, go up to the whole Apex Legends and everything, like get on the podium over there. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 more spaces left. For me, where I would encourage Sony to go is actually go backwards for a time. Go back to co-op games. I think there is a huge potential market for co-op games that people are not exploiting. You know, you take a look at a game like Returnal. Returnal has online co-op, right? But it's only during the campaign missions. Even though they have an arcade in Tower of Sisyphus that is literally made to be perfect, um, for a multiplayer online co-op experience, and they're not doing it. I think that they need to go back to doing those kinds of things and having them as part of the games. And then I do think that they need to think about what's next beyond live service. What is going to be the next chapter? What's going to be the next gold rush? And they have to align themselves to land on that, like you said, from the get-go. I'm not sure what that will be, but I also can tell you that I didn't predict the rise of live service games in the way that we have them now. So they have to find out the next thing. They can't just, like you said, the biggest sin, you were the first person to say it, but the biggest sin that Concord committed is that as soon as you saw it, you were like, oh, that looks like that game.
And we were there when we saw it
Exactly,
live.
we were there.
I was like,
Exactly.
Overwatch. That was the first thing with the
Exactly.
30 second. Like, okay.
Exactly.
I,
So yeah, I do think they have to think about what's next. And maybe it is actually like a game like Horizon. Like maybe they could have a game where it's like a mix between an MMO and a live service, but then the thing is that the machines or the enemy that you're fighting are a lot more tactically demanding, almost like a mix of like an action adventure game, like the fun of that, but like a Rainbow Six in terms of like tactics and strategy, like a game where you have to work really hard with your team. But then again, you have to think about what flavor you're going to bring. And I think kind of like Helldivers 2 is kind of like that, isn't it? Because you're going with your team and you actually do, on the higher difficulties, have to strategize about what it is that you're doing. You're not just going there like invincible Rambos and,
Yeah, you're not just
it's like,
going to
no,
shoot and blow stuff up.
exactly.
You actually have to have a
Exactly. You
strategy to
actually
put
have
it
to
together.
communicate. So maybe that's the angle that they can take, like actually no, go and create this like team-based, like when I say co-op, I mean like we have to rely on your team. One of the things I remember giving feedback from is that Concord was a super heavy team focused game, but it didn't really have enough underpinnings to force you to really play that co-op. You too many people were just leaving the team and everything like that. And I think that is harder to do with PvP, but maybe PvE. Maybe Sony gives up on the whole PvP aspect. Maybe they just go
maybe
PvE,
just
you
maybe
know?
just focus on PVE type games across the
Exactly.
board.
Now, if anyone remembers Battlefield Bad Company 2, they had a mode there that was PvE. I love Battlefield Bad Company 2. I think it was called Onslaught. And basically, there were waves and waves of enemies coming at you. And again, it was PvE. So it was 4 of us. And we had to kind of defend this base. And it was just epic fun, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I think that focusing on PvE could be the way. Forget about the whole PvP thing because between everything we named, the Valorants, the
There's so
GTA
many.
Onlines, there's so many. How many great games are there with PvE? And I think Helldivers 2 shows you people want that. People want co-op experiences. I keep saying to people like you are missing co-op. People want to play co-op. And that doesn't just mean couch co-op, that means things are Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is co-op. You're playing against the
It's
environment. You're
good
not playing against
intense.
other people,
It's a good
you know?
intense, very
Yeah.
well played. I think that I like how you say it. Sony, and you know what, that kind of makes sense, right? Because during the PS4, so many of them just saying that single player is not cutting it, but Sony stuck with it and it worked. And I
Yeah.
think that's what Sony needs to do. Sony needs to be like, you know what, we're not going to copy the third party industry because they're already doing that. We just need to get the third party industry to make sure they do it on PlayStation. But Sony
Yeah.
should focus more on what we're going to do. What is the next best
Yeah.
thing? Like what's missing, not what we can
Yeah.
add that's already there.
Yeah.
What's not there at all? Like what's the next
Yeah.
generation of type games in terms of gameplay that's missing? And you're right. I think Sony should do that instead of trying to catch, keep trying to get lightning in a bottle for the 5th time. Instead of chasing something that's already successful, but like no, we're gonna let's try to introduce something into this space that's brand new. What's missing? What can we get after? What can we get people to do? And I'll be honest, I do think the co-op, a more focus on co-op will probably work vice the PvP and all that stuff, because that's already done.
Yeah. So many people don't like playing PvP. Like I remember when I played MMOs, like RuneScape and everything. I never liked the PvP battles. Some people love PvP. Like a lot of people in MMOs about the PvP, but a lot more people, like 90% of I think MMO players, do not play PvP. They just want to be in the world. They want to go out with their friends. They want to do quests with their friends.
Yeah.
People like co-op, and people like you take a look at the Last of Us No Return mode. How come there isn't an online co-op to that? You know what I mean? Like, or you take a look at even a game like God of War Ragnarok with the Valhalla DLC. There isn't a co-op component. Like, yeah, would it be immersion breaking to have 2 Kratoses? Sure, but so what? Or maybe one could be Atreus. Expand his skill set a little bit, and then one of them is Atreus, and then the other one is
like what they did with
Kratos.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly.
That was
And
a
that's
co-op
PvE,
mode.
and people liked it. Exactly.
Yes. No
And
problem.
I feel like
no hate behind it.
yeah, think about it.
None.
And how many big, like truly big PvE, like co-op games are there that are multiplayer and that are relevant today?
Bro.
Like there's Helldivers, but then
And
what else can
Destiny.
you think?
Destiny.
Destiny, yeah.
And that's
Then
and then
it's like there's 15 spots.
It's just
Yeah, there's like
MMOs.
15 spots.
Yeah.
And in PvP, we can line up 12. And in PvE, there's like 4, right? And then it's like, why
we
are
want to
we
make
not
more
doing
PvP. Like
Exactly.
we need more PvP. You have like 50 examples and hardly any examples
Exactly.
of PvE.
Right?
Like
And they keep
Ahsoka,
dying. Like you just
PvE
literally
based,
listed a
like,
whole list
yeah,
of like
like,
graveyard
yeah.
PvP games. And I'm just like, guys, there's a whole market. And people think that PvE people aren't there, but I'm like, PvE people are there. You're not
I think
serving
so.
them. They're underserved. It's just like we don't have the games to show you that we're there. Like I would
'Cause
love to play
everybody's
PvE
based.
and co-op games way more than I would like to play PvP games. Like I remember even in Star Wars Battlefront 2, they also had a PvE mode. And my friends and I we played that for hundreds of hours. Because it's fun playing with your friends and be like, set the trap over there or stand there, tell me if there's a wave coming. And you don't always have the pressure of like cheaters and everything like that. You're just having a good time. And you only need a few people to make that work. You don't need servers that are like, like you take a look at World Company. World Company is like alive now. I played recently, but the thing is, it takes 7 minutes to start a game because I have to wait for 16 players to come around. If I'm in
When you
PvE, I only
need
have to get 3 of my
people,
friends.
3 or 4.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when
And I think
Resistance
Sony
2 came out, I loved
Yeah.
the co-op mode. That's what I played the most. Like I hardly played the first one, the Resistance multiplayer PvP. That was all I had. For Resistance 1, I played a little bit, but I didn't really care. When Resistance 2 came out, it had a separate co-op mode. Loved it. That's what I played the most. Maxed out the 3 characters. You had like a tank, a sniper, and then the medic. Maxed out all the modes, got all the special abilities. I just kept playing over and over, loved it. And then when they made Resistance 3, they took the co-op mode away and went back to just
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh, I'm not doing that. So you're right. There is, I think there's opportunity to focus more on. You could do the live service, but focus on the PVE type mentality.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
people like you can't automatically be like, oh, this is this game, like because you said there's not a lot of examples of a pure
Yeah.
PVE environmental game. There's not a lot. Of
And there's like I said, there's a lot. Some people have put Monster Hunter Wilds in the chat, and
that's a good
Genshin
example.
Impact. But those are very like specialized. Again, art stars and specialized. There's lots of room in PVE, and I feel like people are just leaving it at the side. And I was like Legends. Okay, so Legends is obviously a good example. Okay, good. I was like Returnal. Why isn't Returnal an online co-op game? Like, it would be perfect for that. And you already have the co-op built in for the single player campaign. So how hard is it to work it in to the arcades
a
version?
whole universe. Oh, that would be crazy.
Right?
That would be
Right?
insane.
Or even
I
just the
would
Tower
rock
of
with
Sisyphus.
that.
Did you play
I
the
would
Tower
rock
of
with that.
Sisyphus DLC?
Yes.
Yeah, imagine how
Yes,
fun it would be to play that because it's
I
infinite.
would. Yes,
Like you guys
yeah,
can just push for the highest and highest score, you know. And if
I
there
would.
were 4 people, like 4 ceilings that you could run
That
around
would be
those arenas
insane.
with, that would be insane. Like imagine the listen, PvE I think is the next frontier, and whoever gets on this like realizes this and starts feeding us that, I think they're going to find that they are not going to attract a lot of PvP players, but they're going to find that
But
there's a
new,
huge
yeah,
amount, you know,
Attr-
of a new audience.
attract a whole new audience. Okay, that's
Yeah.
I could get with that. All right. Before I move on to a quick last topic, and this is an impromptu. Glassdoor Gamer, thank you so much, Glassdoor Gamer. Glassdoor Gamer says Apple tried back in the day to get into gaming, it failed. Software companies have a hard time in this space. Sony is an electronics and entertainment company. Original Xbox was made by gamers. Interesting. Oh,
But
thank you
there's
so
the
much.
thing. Apple back then
Yeah.
wasn't a hardware company as much as they are now. You know, so
They
that's why I think
evolved.
now
And
they're
their
a much better
entertainment, they
place.
got Apple
Exactly.
TV. So their
Yeah.
entertainment now, they got the Apple
Yeah. They
exclusives.
leveled up. They should give it another go.
Hey, hopefully, I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed. I just don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think they're interested.
I don't think that they are necessarily gonna do it, but I think that it
It
would
would
be
be nice to
silly of them
see.
not
I
to.
wouldn't mind seeing it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. You know, if they
Yeah.
ask me, Porter, you think we should do it? I'm gonna be like, do it, do
Done.
it now.
Do it. I
I'll
dare
buy your
you. I
console.
double dare you.
I'll just buy it just because you did it. You
Yeah.
know, just to piss people off. I'll do it, and I'll unbox it on the channel.
Ooh, super, super,
I'll trade
definitely.
teams. I'm
People,
Team
people,
Apple
people
now.
will tell you how much of a sheep you are.
That's it. But thank you
You can
so
go
much,
after the
Glassdoor.
ponies.
All right, now let's do this last one. I just want to show Bethesda pushed out a tweet and showed the requirements of Indiana Jones. So here we go. They have 2 sets of requirements. One for like the base game, you know, just whatever, and then full ray tracing requirements. So they have 2 standards, right? So we'll talk about the regular one. Minimum. All of them. Windows 10 is the minimum. All right.
Yeah.
Processor Intel Core i7, a 10
Mm-hmm.
700K at 3.8
Yeah, 10th
gigahertz. This is
generation.
minimum, or better.
Yeah.
Or AMD Ryzen 5 3600 at 3.6 gigahertz or better. Memory 16 gigs of RAM. Graphics card minimum NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Super 8 gigabytes or AMD Radeon RX 6600 8 gigabytes or Intel Arc A580. Storage 120. Okay, that's minimum. For recommended though, right? Intel iCore 7 12700K at 3.6 gigahertz or better, or AMD Ryzen 7 7700 at 3.8 gigahertz or better. Recommended 32 gigs of RAM. For the graphics card, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 Ti 12 gigabytes or AMD Radeon RX 7700 XT 12
That's
gigabytes.
quite high.
This
The
is
3080 Ti
recommended.
for the recommended specs, and that's without the
Recommended.
ray tracing.
Yep, this is
That's
without the ray
quite high.
tracing, right? Obviously, the Ultra, now you're talking, 4080. 4080 is like the minimum for Ultra, right? So we know that. But now let's look at the full ray tracing requirement minimum. If you want the full ray tracing minimum, right? Again, it's the same CPU as the other minimum, 16 gigs. But the difference is the GPU. The minimum is a GeForce RTX 4070, 12 gigs for minimum.
You
And
definitely,
for recommended, right? The RTX 4080 16 gigs for recommended full ray tracing.
yeah,
Hey,
it's beefy specs. So that tells me two things, right?
this is
That's
beefy.
that tells me when people look at specs for
How the fuck is
games
this
when they
gonna run
look
on the
visually,
Xbox Series S?
I know, right?
Like,
So
are you
here's the
kidding me?
thing: either this game is not going to be optimized well, or I guess the downside is, dude, the PC dude's gonna have a fit because only handful of them gonna be able to actually play the fucking game.
Hold on. For all yous who got suckered and bought a $700 PC, this is what you get.
Facts.
Where is
This is
it?
what you
Where is
get.
it?
This is what you
Yep.
get. Because what
Yep.
$700 PC is gonna play that game?
Hey, I want to.
You
I want
know?
to see my brother Doc Dark. I want to see him give his review of
Hey
the
yo,
game.
Doc. Hey yo, Doc Dark. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey yo, bro. I want to see your Walmart PC run this game. You gotta
Facts.
stream this shit live.
Facts. Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest.
Yo,
Looking
what's
at the
up with
game.
that? Why
Looking at the
though? Why
game.
is that game so high? It doesn't look that graphically good.
That's
It
why I
doesn't look that
said
good.
that's why I
It's not
said
optimized.
For what
it's
is
not
asking.
optimized properly.
I'm saying for
Yeah.
what
It's
is
not optimized.
asking. For what is
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
It doesn't like graphically. I didn't be like, holy shit. Wow,
Yeah,
look
no.
at that motherfucker. Like that's just some next gen engine shit right there. Like no,
Yeah.
nobody went crazy.
Nobody
on
said
graphics.
that. Nobody said
Yeah.
that.
It was not a thing.
I
No
will
one's
say
impressed
it
with the
looks
graphics.
good. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it doesn't look bad at all. Like it's not fucking metaphor.
Yeah,
Like you know.
it doesn't look bad. It's just I'm surprised that the specs are so high for a game that looks like that. Like
Nah,
if you're
way
gonna
too
tell
high.
me
Way too
that
high.
you raise the minimum bar, which is fine, I agree. The minimum specs, when you raise the minimum specs, is because the game is moving up. So you can't go
Yeah.
to the 1660 Ti. You gotta raise the minimum specs to hit a higher level of fidelity, graphics, and make the game look good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like the bar got raised. It just doesn't.
Also,
look
you know
it.
what this tells me? This confirms to me that everything they've shown so far is on PC. Like they haven't shown us the game running on actual console.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sorry, I don't think we've seen it on the Series X. This is why
You're
I
right.
think that Microsoft should force the devs to show everything running on the Series X.
Why?
Because clearly, if these are the specs, why do you think it runs out on the Series X?
That's why they're not gonna show it. That's why we're not showing it. Xbox, listen, Microsoft already told you this is an Xbox.
Oh, why? Why?
You
Yeah,
forgot?
I'll be showing you on an Xbox.
This overclocked dual 4090 with
Yeah.
128 gigs of RAM is an Xbox. Okay. Everything's overclocked to the
Put
max.
on this supercomputer.
In
We'll
fact,
put on this
the
supercomputer.
PC only lasted 5 minutes because it got burned out. But those 5 minutes, we're showing you the graphics.
Those were honest to goodness Xbox graphics.
Yeah, Xbox. Honest to goodness, this was running, real time on an Xbox.
Yep. We're not telling you which Xbox.
We're not telling you which one.
But it was on one. It was on one.
256 gigs, overclocked by 200%. The machine only lasted 30 seconds, but that's the clip we're
Yep.
gonna show you. 30 seconds of that clip.
Oh man.
I was just shocked. I'm like, oh my god, like, bro, like you're gonna need a PS5 Pro for this one to
Yep.
get it at 30 frames. Like, holy shit. I feel sorry if you're playing this on console, bro. And on any console, even when it comes to PlayStation, like shit.
Oh yeah. Agree.
You even testing the pros limits on this one, like god, even the PS5 Pro's like, god damn, boss, what the fuck is you doing?
But do you know one
You
thing
should
that
have
is
saved this game for next gen.
one thing that is missing? I think, if I remember correctly, they are releasing the embargo on the day the game is dropping.
There's a reason
Y'all
why.
are cooked. Y'all are cooked.
But
Hey, listen, truck, walk it back. Walk it back right now. Aaron, you know the way that I disavow Concord? Sorry, I disavow Fair Games?
Yeah.
You know the way I disavow Fair Games? Disavow this game just the same way. Just tell them I'm not fighting this battlefield. Like, listen, when Fair Games comes out and it's hot trash, y'all ain't seeing me. Y'all ain't catching me with that.
Like, I mean,
No,
You on
not
your
me.
own.
I'm the one firing the gun.
Yo, J-Dub,
I'm
he's
the
leaving
one
you
firing the
alone.
gun.
J-Dub, he says stick to 8K ray tracing on
I-
Gran Turismo 7.
exactly.
But that's
Listen,
how I'm too
J-Dub.
busy. He's like, J-Dub,
J-Dub.
like, I'm too busy.
PSVR
Running these
2.
laps.
PSVR 2. We are both running GT7 on that week. Okay, we're gonna go PSVR 2.
he said
That's all
facts.
we're doing.
Oh, shit.
I'll even buy one just to avoid the
Yo,
conversation. I'll be
hey,
like, hey, you want my PSVR 2 with you?
Yo, J-Dub,
Facts.
what is Xbox doing? Why do they do this to themselves?
Listen, man. Here's the thing. First thing people are gonna say, and because I've already heard it, right? I've heard people say, "Well, the studio that makes these type of games that makes this games. Well, look at all their previous games. They don't really make, so and so. They always use that excuse. Well, these are the type of games they make, and yada yada. And it's like, just because that's the type of games that they previously made does not mean this is the type of game that they should make this time. Like, I'm a firm believer. You can do other things. You don't have to just be
Well, at
known
least
You're
for
not
level
allowed
doing
to
up,
one
level
thing.
up.
right? If
You're
you're
not
gonna
allowed to
stick
level
with
up.
if you're gonna stick with the same thing, at least level up. Like get better at
Ex-
it.
Exactly. But that is just like, listen, that's just like Bethesda games, right? With Fallout and stuff, and even with Starfield. They gave them a pass, seeing, well, they never really made graphically demanding games. They make games that are big and open world, but it's like, why can't you make a graphically demanding game that's great in open world as well? Why you have to choose either or? Like, you should be able to update your engine or update, whatever to like, we shouldn't still be playing fucking Skyrim looking games, right? In 2024, 2025. Like, you should be able to get good and update your shit. So I don't know, man. I'll be honest. I never had. It was the first time I saw this game. I never had any faith that it was going to be any good. I think it'll be okay. I think the Xbox media sites are going to do what they normally do, give it 10 out of 10, and then everybody else is going to give it middling score. Um, and that's just kind of what it is. It's unfortunate. All they had to do was copy Tomb Raider and Uncharted. That's all they have to do.
It
And
wasn't even
they would have
hard.
had a successful, yeah. They had the
Jesus.
foundation. All they had to do was just make
Copy the
this
homework.
skin. Yeah,
Copy the
exactly.
homework.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh
We got
shit.
Blaze. Oh, he's like, there
Oh
will be no
man.
Indiana Jones slander.
Oh
Oh shit.
man.
No,
What
that
you
game
say?
can die.
Oh snap! Oh, what happened, bro?
Facts.
Yo, So
Facts.
to answer your question, I think. Oh shit, But I think all joke, no jokes aside, I think the reason why Machine Games is doing it because they already have the core template with Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein is
Right.
literally a first-person shooter that had Nazis. So a lot of the core stuff. Now, of course, they're gonna change the gameplay for Indiana Jones. So you saw it was more sneaky, whatever. But that's just changes they could implement easy. But the core, like first person view, the animation, the movement, Nazi level character designs and symbolisms and all this other stuff, it's there.
Mhm.
They just
Yeah,
had to adopt. They just had to merge something that they already know. They got Nazis. They got the backdrop. They got all that German language, mocap or whatever animation, and they just put the Indiana Jones flavor and blow. Here you go. You got Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's
A
really
lot of
what it is.
reused assets. A lot of
Yeah,
reused assets.
absolutely,
Yep.
because it's already there. They already
Yep.
have it.
And not to take away from them, because I think Machine Games, Wolfenstein, New Order, and they made some great games. They're awesome games, but bro, I don't know. Maybe I'm old. I don't, even as an older guy, I don't look at Indiana Jones like it needed to be made. Like, whose idea was it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
just don't see like it's like
Out of all
a
the
screaming. Yeah, like,
all
is it a
the
franchise that's screaming to be made? Like,
like
I
that's
don't think
Disney,
so.
right? Indiana Jones owns by Disney, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like out of
I
all
think
the
so.
things they went after Disney, I'm telling you, I would have went after the Marvel IP or the Star Wars IP. Like I don't get
Absolutely.
it. I don't get I don't get some of the decisions. Like me, I'd be like, why don't we just go after Star Wars IP and make a Luke Walker Sky Saga instead of all this bullshit like side quests? Like everybody's making Star Wars, but not really making Star Wars.
Yeah,
You
you
know
know,
what
that's
I'm
the thing
saying?
people
It's
want.
like it would be
Yeah.
like somebody says, "Hey, let's make a Superman game, but it's gonna be about Lois Lane adventures." Like what? Like who? Like no one wants to play as Lois Lane. Like we don't want that. Like give us the
Yeah.
main meal. Like like all these Star Wars outlaws. Why? Like no one wants that. Give us
And that's got to be
Luke
so messed up, Puerto Rock,
Skywalker.
because
Give us Luke
because
Skywalker. It's not hard.
dude, that would be fine, bro.
Give me
The
Luke.
thing that developing team is like so used to making visceral, gory, bloody games, and now they're gonna, Indiana Jones is gonna be, super
PG.
safe, yeah,
Toned
like
down.
PG, whatever. That's whatever. That's okay. There's room for all those types of games. I'm just saying, like, it's just weird that developer going from like dudes body splitting in half to like making, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. But yeah, if like you said, they got a list of IPs they could have went after. I just don't see why, unless they felt like they needed that. Like, I swear they paid for Tomb Raider to be exclusive for a year earlier. Like, I feel like they're chasing that Uncharted feel. They still haven't got that IP that does it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think they should have went for that. I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, it's a good. I don't know. It's just weird, and I'm not just talking about Microsoft.
No, it was a bad choice. It's a bad choice.
It's across the board.
It's a bad choice.
Like, developers are just doing these weird choices when some things are so obvious. Like, some things like these, again, Star Wars is another. Like, I'm using Star Wars because it doesn't make sense. How do we, like, the last time we had a Luke Skywalker saga was like Super Nintendo. Like, how are we going this long with somebody not thinking, you know what? We're going to recreate the Luke Skywalker saga.
Most popular shit. Like, I don't understand
Literally the heart of the franchise, and no one wants to do it. We got everything else but, for single player, but the Luke's like who's, like, is no one interested in Luke Skywalker? That's like the main dude. That's, like, I don't understand this stuff. Like, I don't get it. It's just, some of these decisions is just Suicide Squad from Rocksteady. Why did you want to make that game? No one cares about King Shark and Captain Boomerang. What makes you think we give a F about those guys? Like, no.
I mean, there's people that, like, I'm sure there's people, but like that's the B-roll team. That's the B-roll. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Some people might have wanted that story if the main characters were actually done well. Like, if you actually fought alongside the characters that you wanted and they were represented well in the game, even if you had to kill them in the end, like, the thing is, it's not just a failure of concept. Like, you're right, the concept itself is like, that's already iffy, but then you failed the execution after that. It's like, that was the thing with Suicide Squad, and then you made this live service bullshit. Like, oh man,
you just added.
Oh man, it was just failure after failure after failure. Just like, goddamn, like, okay, so we might give you some leeway on this, but then you fell at that, and then it's like, oh, now you're even fucking up. Like, now it's a live service on top of everything. Nah, that was the thing with it.
Yeah. So, hey, Blade, let me ask you, how you feel about these specs for Indiana Jones? Were you expecting these specs to be so high, given how the game looks?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Somebody posted it in my Discord. Yeah, I think, they're a little out there, but hey, man.
Like, the way the game they presented it, does it look like that type of game where they elevated the minimum spec? Does it, like, I didn't expect the specs to be this high.
I'm not gonna say the game looks like, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't scream like it's gonna melt my GPU. Yeah.
It doesn't scream the minimum's 2060 now. We raised the bar. Yeah. It doesn't look
it
like
has
that type of game.
Has there been ever a game that you see previews of it and then you play, like, wow, actually this shit really does look good? It could be the case. Like, it's hard to tell. It's just
this isn't it.
This ain't it. Yeah, this ain't it. I don't know. I'm just
shocked that it was that high. I'm like, all right, okay.
Now listen, we've all seen those trailers. We're not going to pretend that they're going to bring up some kind of filet mignon at the end of the day. Nah, we're getting what we're seeing, and what we saw, I bet you, was already on the 4090. So it's like, if you weren't that impressed by that, listen, there's nothing on your console that's going to impress you.
Yeah, because I guarantee the footage they showed so far wasn't like on a low end PC or even on the Xbox, right?
Yeah. And if you're going to put it on PC, why put it on the low end PC? 4090. The entire point, exactly. The entire point putting on PC is to show the best that it can possibly be, which is, again, it's fine, but this.
I posted in your Discord, Puerto Rock, but now that I'm reading it again, it says full ray tracing requirements. So I don't know if that that's why they're so high. I just posted, but
even the minimum specs, specs.
There's two sides to it.
Okay. I haven't seen the other one. Okay.
Oh, let me send you. Give me a second. I'll send it to you. I'll get it. Give me a second. I'll send it to you. Because I just had it up. Damn it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Dude, the game, like you see when you that whole third person animation when you're climbing a ladder,
I'm gonna put it back on the
just
screen.
don't feel right, man. I don't know. It's weird.
Have you seen this? I'll put it back on the screen just on the podcast. So you're seeing it, Blaze?
You put it up right now? Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You seeing it? So like for just minimum, no ray tracing or nothing, is a 2060.
Oh wow. That's like this.
Recommended regular, not even ray tracing, a 3080 Ti.
Oh. That's like the majority of people, PC gamers have 2060s, mid-range GPUs.
Yeah, that's not mid-range now. Not for this game. That's minimum.
Wow, I wonder how this is gonna run on a Series X.
Yo, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we've been saying.
So because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so people's mid-range is now the minimum. So if you want recommended like mid-range, right? You could say recommended is the mid-range PC. It's a 3080 Ti.
That's
and PC
crazy.
gamers out here recommending $700 builds. Can a $700 build play this? At recommended settings?
$700 bill will restart. You try to play that shit.
And that's like the regular stuff. Now, if you go to full ray tracing, minimum is a 4070. Minimum.
It's interesting. I'm definitely gonna I'll give it a go. I mean, whatever. I'll try it.
Game Pass, right? What the fuck?
Yeah, Game Pass. Fuck it.
And also, you already have a powerful PC. You've got a 4090, so why not? Yeah. So it's like.
Yeah, just because you have a powerful car doesn't mean you want to drive it down a shitty road.
That's true.
He don't want that game to brick his machine because he'll be pissed off if that shit bricks his thing. He'd be like, "Wait a minute, you bricked my PC."
This guy said, "Listen, my Rolls Royce Magic Carpet ride doesn't mean I want to go over your bitch ass potholes."
Exactly.
He's like, "I won't feel them, but my suspension will have to be paid for." He has to be paid and cared for.
I haven't even used I've been on my Listen, I've been on my PS3. I've been on my Pro. I've been back to console gaming hard like the last 6 months, bro. Honestly, it's you know what it is.
It's just
it's
just so easy.
It's so easy, but I don't even like trophies, but it's just I like.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sorry. Let me recorrect.
You're not a trophy hunter, but you like trophies.
Right. I don't like platinum. I don't care about platinums.
Yeah.
But I like the completing games on PlayStation. It just feels more. I don't know. I don't know. I can't explain it. But and then I lost my PSN account from 20 all my PS3 data, 360, and early PS4. I lost it all. So, well, I used to date. I had an ex-girlfriend, right? And once I met my new girl, so I've always so I called Sony. They can't do nothing. So like, oh, try sending resend your email. So I've been resending the email verification, reset password, hoping that this bitch is seeing her phone like, oh, this motherfucker needs his email. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna call my ex-girlfriend saying, hey, can I get the PlayStation? Because she's gonna be like, oh, this dude's down bad, calling about a PlayStation account. Like, yeah, you ain't doing nothing in life. You know what I mean? So fuck it. So I went and I did all the, I beat Killzone, all the Killzones again on PS3. I beat all the.
Her email is her email.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Hey, this guy was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. He was like, I'm gonna do it all over again.
Oh, man,
so I just beat Killzone 2, I beat Shadowfall, I'm on 3 now. Because, I always talk Killzone, and I'm always thinking like, yo, somebody goes and checks my account, they're going to see no Killzone on my account. That's crazy.
Oh, he doesn't want like King Crash. Hey, King Crash is going to look up your gamer tag.
King Crash come after you. He's like, look at this guy.
No, I'm not. I'm not worried about that.
You're gonna say the N
word. And then you have to hit them with the quiz. Kevin Hart, the way my bank account is set up.
He goes, oh shit.
Shout out to Thrash. No, listen. I think profile audits should be. I mean, if you frauding out here, I think it should be exposed.
I like it. Profile audits. I like that.
Yeah, dog. I'm just a historian. Like I want that shit I want Killzone on my account. Like I just wanted to replay him. So that's all I did. But yeah, I've been enjoying the Pro, man. I'm enjoying console gaming. I like the 30th I don't know if you guys spoke about that.
Of course. That was in the beginning.
It's really cool.
Which is your favorite theme? Which theme you rocking?
Listen, man, I love you can't beat the PS1 classic, you know, turn it on.
Okay.
But listen, it's hard. It's like, what son do you like better? I like the PS2, I like the PS3. My thing with
He said,
PlayStation
which
is
son you like better?
this shit is a
The
tease.
one that
You
brings in
have
the money.
don't lie. You know you have a favorite son. You're just not gonna admit it.
I do. I do. It's my youngest.
You got that
Yeah.
one boy that just hits different.
Nah, but
mine is
you know
the
what I've been
PS2.
clamoring
That's why
for?
I have it set for the PS2. I don't know
But
what
they're
it
getting
is,
rid of
man.
this shit.
I love it.
I think they
know,
should
It's a
keep
man.
it.
PS3.
We,
It's a
you know,
PS3.
we
man.
need to do a
Yeah.
change.org or something. Don't get rid of it.
Yo,
man.
PlayStation, I've been clamoring. Yo, I don't know if you ever heard me. You like Blaze always complaining that there's no themes on PlayStation and shit like that. But
Yeah, yes, you have.
if they can do this with the sounds and the different, so they can implement
They can
themes.
bring
My
themes.
thing is, yo, Puerto Rock though, I love what they did. It's cool, but you know what? In my opinion, it's half-assed, bro. Don't give me no fucking
That's what
third
I
of a
say.
fucking. Let me have the full screen PlayStation.
Oh.
Like you remember playing the PS3?
Extreme,
You would
like
hover.
Extreme talked. Yeah. Extreme
Yeah, but
talked
you.
about it.
Why do I need to see the full art book of Killzone Shadowfall? Just show me a little preview, a little box of it. Like let us have themes that cover up the whole screen. That's all I'm asking.
Do you know what I thought first when it was announced? I thought they were gonna get you back to the old menu systems. I thought they were gonna
Right.
create an
The
XMB,
whole thing.
like
Oh,
they
Bro, I
want to
would've
change the
cried.
whole UI. Like you could choose between the cross media bar, you could choose between the PlayStation 4 layers, and you know the PS2 was very basic, so I guess they would have just.
Oh, they
kinda
had
like-
did it have a UI? I think
Yeah,
it just had
exactly.
press start. Play, it went straight
Exactly.
to the
PS1,
game.
you had nothing. PS1 just launches you into the
You
game.
launch into
Like
the
PS1,
game.
you just launch you into the game. We don't. There's
Right.
no main menu. Okay, you got no friends. No friends during these 30 days.
That would be
No
hilarious.
online.
You pick the PS1.
You can't unlock trophies.
Like, where's
You
all
can't
my
unlock
shit
trophies.
at? No, you wanted the PS1. You can't even go back because we removed the menu.
Exactly. Digital games don't work. You gotta get physical again.
Gotta get the disc back. Oh shit. Oh shit, that would have been crazy.
And
That
then,
would've
and
been a
then they
good
will
troll.
just they will simulate freezing. They will just be like, "Oh, your game froze." You're like, "What?
That would've been-
This
that
is
would've
installed on my SSD." They're like, "Nah, man.
That would've
Go
been a good
blow on that
troll.
cartridge."
Oh shit, that would have been a good troll. Oh, that's funny. You know.
Oh my god.
But yeah. Oh man, that's cool.
No, Blaze. What I was gonna say is that, especially the sound, for me,
Super J,
more
though.
than the visual, is the sound.
Yeah.
That click that the PS3 did, oh my god, that tick tick. I'm just like, bro, that's memories right there.
Right,
Like,
isn't it,
I'm
dude?
sorry,
That shit
I
is
just
fire, bro. And like I said,
Bro.
and themes are pre-order incentive, bro. It was beautiful. You wanna buy the new Horizon? If you pre-order it, you get an exclusive theme. That shit was fire, bro. By the way, J-Dub, I'm not gonna expose our text message because I said J-Dub. I just texted him. I was like, yo, where'd you go, bro? You know what the motherfucker texted me back? He said I had to take an Xbox. Come on, bro. That's out of pocket, bro. That's out of pocket.
Big facts. Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna be honest. See, he's young, so he don't remember the PlayStation 1 days, man. Like
Nah, I don't.
that shit was iconic because we came from like I said, we came from the Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, we came from that era. And once PlayStation 1 like launched and it just hit the market, it went like a nuke. Like
Yep.
everybody was like, "What the fuck?" These
Big
motherfuckers came out
facts.
of nowhere and they made a gaming machine that fucking had polygon graphics that was never done before. A CD player that played music, freaking memory card and stuff like that. And it was just a gaming machine. And that name PlayStation, I remember telling my older brother, I was like, dude, like that's a perfect name for a gaming console, PlayStation. And
It
but
really
but
is.
back in the day, I was young. I didn't know, but I told him specifically, hey, that's a perfect name. But nobody knew what a PlayStation was. Nobody knew that Sony was getting into gaming. They didn't think that this would be the big thing going in the future. Nobody knew that. Back in those days, the household name was Sega and Nintendo. To have a brand new person come out of nowhere and dominate and
And
then
take
continue
over
to
like
Out of
that.
dominate
spite,
That's
and
crazy.
run
that
people out of the
story is
fucking
crazy.
market. It's I'm telling you, it's I lived through it. So and I've seen it. And again, my brother, he had Atari 2600, ColecoVision, and right, because they were older than me. He was older than me, and so I got to reap those rewards with starting playing on those older consoles, and then eventually work my way up through the ranks. But once PlayStation kind of hit the market, it's like it was a whole like I forgot about what Sega was. Like I kind of really didn't care, but I still had a love in my heart for Sega because I went through the whole Joe Montana, NBA Action, Moonwalker. I mean, the Sega Genesis was just that. To me personally, that console was the better of the generation. I don't care what nobody
Bro,
said.
Genesis
It
was a
was
beast, bro.
yeah, Genesis couldn't be fucked with. Regardless of what the sales numbers say, it was just a console where I was at that day and time in my
It
life.
was the cool kid console. I don't care.
It
I'm with you,
was.
bro.
Dude, we had blood in games where Nintendo didn't. I mean,
Right,
come on, like that,
right.
that whole Mortal Kombat phase with the code, it was a whole nother ball game. And to see Sony come out of nowhere and knock off Sega and damn near knock off Nintendo and ran them into a whole nother category, a whole nother lane, you know, and then take on, obviously Xbox was the newest kid on the block, and they tried, and they had a good run with the 360. Even the OG Xbox
The
One, that was
OG
the
Xbox
introduction.
has a really memorable startup as
Yeah.
well. To be fair, I mean, it
Oh
was a
yeah,
cool.
with the green
Yeah,
blob. That yeah, no,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Even the old fashioned, the big Duke controller, the memories were there. It had great exclusives. It had great games. It had capabilities that PlayStation did have. Right, you could rip your music to the hard drive. That had never been done before.
Yep, that was
Um,
fire.
the the whole built-in broadband internet connection had never been really done before, like that built into the machine without buying an adapter and stuff like that. Um, so it was a lot of first with that, but just PlayStation, just every generation seemed to just excel. Excel not only in just the games, but in what it was trying to do.
Even the
And
consoles, J Dub, how they presented the consoles. With the PS1, okay, it was pretty standard, and then
yeah,
the Mini was awesome, but the PS2 with the blue stand,
yeah,
they just the
yeah.
PS3. This shit looked like it was from the
Yeah.
future, bro.
But you
You know
got
what
to
I mean?
realize Sony was the apple of the day when it came to electronics, right? Remember the Walkman, the CD player, DVD player,
Yeah, they were running
Blu-ray
shit back then,
player.
bro, for sure.
The Sony Vaio laptops were like the MacBooks of
Yep.
the
For
era,
Windows. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
It was just everything they made was expensive and premium, and it didn't change once they got into gaming. They kept it the premium feel, the premium look. They were one of the only consoles to be able to have the power supply built into the unit where it didn't have a power brick. It was just that little cable, the
Talk
little skinny
about it,
cable
bro.
that we have today. PlayStation has never had a brick outside of the console. It's always been on the inside. So they always did what they do, right? Um, did I think it was going to be what as big as it is? No, I didn't, because Nintendo was like it was their household name. Sega was that household name. Sega and Nintendo both knocked out 3DO, right? They knocked out Panasonic in gaming. They knocked out Neo Geo. They knocked out all of the people that came with bigger and better, and they
That
tried it.
Dreamcast was lit, but guess what was coming a year later? Everybody knew it.
Listen, yeah, the big behemoth, man. That name PlayStation just really made a name for itself, and it delivered it delivered in the end. And at the end of the day, it's all about games. It delivered on the games. And I just read what Sean Layton said earlier. He said, with the PS3, they tried, they learned they learned a big lesson there. And at the end of the day, just make a great make the best gaming console you possibly can. Don't try to, yeah, you can stream, yeah, you can watch TV, yeah, you can make it a microwave, but it better be a fucking badass video game. The video game
Console
portion of it
first.
has to be first.
Right.
Everything else is secondary. And I think that's where Microsoft failed last generation with the whole TV shit. Even though we adopted, all consoles adopted that narrative, it's just they talked less about the games and they made the focus about making it a damn
That
cable
was their
box,
main
right?
marketing, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah. Even right now with Xbox, right? They don't really tell you what their consoles can do. It's about everything else, right?
Bro,
It's
their
about Game
marketing is
Pass. It's about
so fucked up, bro. Like even like bro, Series X, Xbox One X, Series Xbox One X. Like, bro, what the fuck is going on with their marketing, bro? And I get it. People always say, why did they call it 360? Because PlayStation 3 was releasing, so they didn't want to have an Xbox 2 and call it
yeah,
Yeah.
Xbox 2 and then PS3. And you know what I mean? Because the general population is like, oh, so that the PS3 is the newer, it's ahead. You know what I mean? So that's
Mhm.
the whole reason. But
Yeah.
after that, it didn't make any sense. The Xbox One,
hmm
it's like I get it, the all-in-one machine, but it's still you're going backwards. The whole reason you didn't say Xbox Two because you didn't want to go backwards, but you went backwards with the Xbox One. It don't make any sense.
yep.
Yeah,
It's
I thought that
crazy
was a
how
stupid
that was.
reason. I
Yeah,
know they said it, but they should. I get it. They're trying to say, "Oh, we don't want to look weaker than the PS3." But the thing is, it's not about the PS3. It's about sending a message about the Xbox. Xbox Two
hmm
makes sense because this is the next Xbox. It's not, it's not in relation to what you gonna call it, to the PlayStation. Like this is
Right.
the Xbox Two, and it's
yeah,
an easier name, which they could have been consistent. Like there's talk about what they should call the Nintendo Switch. I'm like, bro, the Switch 2. That's
yeah,
it. Like that's it.
yep,
That's what it is. It's simple. Anybody who's interested will know exactly what it is. It sends a message. This is the next Switch. Don't do no
yeah,
weird shit and whatever. Like some I don't know who started it, but somebody's like they should call it the Super Nintendo Switch. I'm like, that's fucking
yeah.
stupid.
The super,
That's
yeah, the
that name's
super
retarded.
super switch. Yeah,
Like Super Nintendo Switch. That's retarded. Because now what's
yeah,
next? Switch 64? Like that
yeah,
doesn't make sense. Like we're gonna start this over. The Switch
yeah,
Cube. Like
That's
no,
true.
Switch 2. Switch 2. That's it. Switch 2. Switch
yeah.
3. Switch 4.
For the
It's
rock,
simple. Like don't overthink
my,
this. Super Nintendo Switch. Like what? Like no. Don't
listen,
go.
for the rock,
That's just
you're
dumb.
right. Listen, you're right. But this is Nintendo we're talking about, man. For whatever reason, bro, GameCube, like that name still never resonated with most gamers. The Wii never really resonated with most gamers. Nintendo, they just may fucking come out with a new name for this console.
Yeah, they
For
sell
whatever
gimmick,
reason.
bro. Nintendo be selling.
Yeah,
They get bro
gimmicks.
every console. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
I'm
But at
telling
a
you.
certain point, no, they just gotta realize. Wait a minute. We got a very successful product. Unless the next product is completely different, which would be dumb. But let's say,
Yeah.
which I don't think is, I think it is. It's the Switch 2. That's what they're releasing.
Yeah.
So just call it what it is. Don't overthink it. You know how I like to say, don't
Yeah.
church it up, dirt. It's not Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
Like don't be stupid
Yeah.
and create something like it's the Switch 2. It's simple.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna make a Switch 3. Then you're gonna make a Switch 4, and you're never gonna run out of numbers.
And I think that's what PlayStation fucked
kept
up
it
too.
simple. Why do you think?
No,
What,
but
Yeah.
with the handhelds?
with the handheld, they should have said PSP2, bro.
P2.
Even though
Yeah.
I love the Vita, it's my favorite. You know what I mean? But they should have just did that.
PSP 2. That's really what it is. Like the naming conventions sometimes don't have to be that intricate. It's just real simple.
Yeah.
I mean, iPhone does it. They're not redefining what the iPhone is. It's the iPhone 16, iPhone 17.
You ain't lying. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're never gonna run out of numbers. This is gonna be iPhone 199. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
agree with you.
simple.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't mind Samsung's approach where you name it after the year that it's come out. Then it makes it easy to keep track because you know that the S25 releases in S25, into 2025. So there's kind of something nice to that. But yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah. I agree. But I will say this. I will say, given the history of PlayStation and given the history of like Nintendo and Xbox, I'm gonna be honest. I think PlayStation has the better history as far as like the engrossing history about how it came about than
Yeah.
any of them. Because it came about by just they were building a disk drive for the Nintendo for the Super Nintendo. and Nintendo ended up doing a shady thing where they chose Toshiba to do it instead of Sony after Sony had already did all this stuff. And obviously Sony said they wanted to make games for Nintendo and they wanted, some royalties and stuff from that, and that didn't turn out right. But at the end of the day, it all worked out because then they ended up building a console and releasing it and fucking shellacking Nintendo and outdoing them. So PlayStation shouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Nintendo flubbing.
No, to be fair, I think
Yes.
Nintendo also has an amazing story. Because I'll be honest, we probably wouldn't even have console games if it wasn't for Nintendo. Atari fucked it up. Atari fucked up console gaming bad. Like, yo, they were
No, they
literally
did.
selling. They
Absolutely.
were literally selling
Yeah,
games
with
with
the
no
ET
games in the
shit.
cartridge.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
83 crash was abysmal. Yo,
Yeah.
literally, they sold games or
Yeah.
cartridges that didn't have games in it. Like, there was no
Yeah.
games. They purposely just put together a cartridge. It looked like there was a game, and then when you put it, there was no data. Like, yo, and there was no
Yeah.
stopping them and stuff. And Nintendo
Yep.
came in and says, hey, it's going to
There
have
was
the
no
seal of
quality control.
quality. This is the
Yep.
seal of quality. Do not buy anything that does not have the seal of quality. They put in, they really brought console, like PC game was still around, right? Because that was a whole different beast.
Yeah.
But as far as console, Nintendo brought that shit back. Nintendo, and
They-
they created the standard of console games, and they
That-
held anybody that wanted
Mhm.
to make a game, you had to meet this standard. If you did it, not happening. So Nintendo has a
Yeah,
amazing.
no, that's
They
true.
just fucked up by screwing over PlayStation. That's it. That was
Yeah.
their biggest mistake.
Yeah.
But they have a good cherished story there too, man.
They do. I'm looking at it from an origin because you think about like Nintendo. Most people don't know about Nintendo's origin, how the company came about, and people just remember the NES, or if you're in Japan, the Famicom, and then the Super Famicom, and then the Super. That's what they know of Nintendo. But prior to that, that history, most game, unless you watch some kind of documentary or something, most people, it's not. It wasn't, to me personally. Maybe it's just my opinion. It just really wasn't. I look at the whole how PlayStation, they were working with these guys, deals signed, I mean, everything was going just, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then Nintendo just announced that. I think at CES or some gaming thing or whatever, they got up on stage and announced Toshiba and not Sony, and then that was like, what the fuck, and the rest is history. So
I have another topic, just a fun little topic for the people. Podwork, I've just sent you a link on the DMs, on the X's, on the Twitters, the Twitterverse. You can go find my
Little
small little topic there. Little topic, just a little topic, Little, shooting some shit about opinions and stuff.
We're talking Jaguar?
We're talking Jaguar.
okay, I was
Alright.
I was a day one adopter of the Atari Jaguar.
No,
No, we're not
that
talking about the
Jaguar.
Atari Jaguar.
He's talking about the
We're
car.
talking actual Jaguar.
Oh, he's talking about the car. Oh, dude, I thought you was talking about gaming. Okay, he took it to
Nah,
cars.
what are we?
Okay.
We're not gamers. We're not gamers over here. Can't you hear the chat all the
Nah,
time with
I
Truck
hear you. I hear
and
you.
Aaron? They know we're not.
So you're talking
we're
about
not.
the prototype?
We're talking about the concept car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let me tell
Saw
you.
it.
All right, can I just give my controversial opinion right away?
Go
I
ahead.
think the font change was stupid. I think getting rid of the Jaguar was stupid. But at the same time, I think that the old font and the old Jaguar logo wouldn't go with this car, and I really like the way this car looks.
I agree with you, but I will say this:
Do they have it in black?
Jaguar has always been known
Not yet.
to.
Not yet.
Jaguar was always known for being a old prestigious doctor or some business guy type
Facts.
car, right? That was the demographic of Jaguar since its inception all the way into now. Now they're trying to build something for the newer, hipper crowd because that old money, those old guys, those old farts, they're dying out, right? So you can't sell that to those guys anymore because they don't exist. You have the millennials, you have Gen Z, you have, all of it.
That
So
looks like they're influenced by like Tesla, big time. A
well,
lot of
it's electric.
influence.
So
It's
yeah.
electric, which
Yeah,
allows
but
them
I'm
to
just
have
talking
more
about the
pixels.
body, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it is a little bit of that low polygon thing, but it looks way better than the Cybertruck. Like, I'm sorry, like the Cybertruck is disgusting.
It is. I
I
agree.
don't like the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And
It's disgusting.
I seen it like in front of me.
Live.
I'm like,
You've seen it live.
Yeah, I seen it live, like real. Because
Yeah.
I'm in California. Like this is like Tesla Central.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like like even when my daughter came and visited me, like within the first day, she's like, "Damn, there's a lot of Teslas running around here." I'm like, "Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Teslas is normal out here. They're like everywhere."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're everywhere here too. To be honest, they really are.
Yeah. Well, they're
They're not
built here
everywhere in Australia,
here in
but
Texas.
they're here often enough. And but in any case, I just think
Oh
that
wait a
this
minute,
whole Jaguar.
oh, I thought this was the car. This is the video that everybody flipped out about.
Oh, this is
The
the
woke. This is woke.
the work stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah,
Why? What's so bad? What's wrong with the video?
There's black people in it.
It's
Oh, come on,
Let's
bro.
go.
Really?
There
No,
you go.
I'm not saying that's wrong.
Yeah, no,
I'm just telling you that's
literally
really comes
what
down to
is.
it.
Stop
They
fucking
went
playing, bro.
batshit
If
crazy
you got
because
black
they had the
people or
different
minorities, it is
colors.
woke. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah. And again, it
That's
was
what it
the
is.
target audience.
If that's
is
the
saying,
fucking
hey,
case, they're clowns, bro.
I'd be like, it's always that, man. It's
Yeah.
always that. Let me see. Is this
Yeah.
the car one?
yeah, the second video, the other video, the 1 minute one is the car one.
Everything's fucking woke. Shut up.
I'm so tired of it, man. It's for real. Guys like
So yeah, listen. I remember I was having a talk with my girlfriend at the time.
That design.
Yeah.
No, I'm fucking with that. I
listen.
like it.
That shit looks like something out of Cyberpunk 2077, right?
That's James Bond shit, bro. That's
Yeah,
fire.
exactly. I'm just like,
that's the
this thing
goal. Yeah,
looks
that's
shit right there. Look at that.
that's the goal. That's the goal.
It
Think
got
about
no
it. It's
dashboard.
2025 for the Rock.
Oh, the dashboard's hidden in the thing.
The cars.
Yo, put that in Gran Turismo, bro. Oh my god.
Puerto Rock, think about it. The cars that we've been having for the last 50 years,
This shit.
they all fucking look the same. Cars hadn't really changed much at all, right? You keep going from square to polygonal to bubble, and then you just keep repeating. Look at the Cadillac Escalade. It started out as the bubble shape, and then it went to the box body, and then it went to the trapezoid look, and then now it's back to the box. It just keeps repeating. Well, this is something different, and they're trying new things to freshen up again to the new demographic, the new way. Hey, bro, you already know I'm on it. I'm looking. I'm peeping. I listen. I haven't signed anything. I'm just peeping.
You're gonna get
I got
the first
one eye open.
10 models produced.
No. Listen. I'm still waiting on my.
How much does that cost?
My Honda Afila, my PlayStation 5 car. Yeah,
That'd be crazy.
It'll that Jag. It'll be about all of those electric
I
cars.
wouldn't mind that blue one.
$100,000.
Yeah, the blue one looks good. Even the pink one looks pretty cool. One thing that I will say is obviously this is a concept car, right? It doesn't have
rocking pink.
It's not it's not gonna be all this when it releases. It's not gonna it needs to have side mirrors and cameras, and it needs to have more ground clearance for actual roads. But if it looks
because we're in the States, which fucking sucks, but all of our cars have to have a physical mirror. It can't be like Europe and stuff.
Oh yeah, it can't be the
cameras.
camera. Yeah.
Which fucking sucks. Even
But to be fair, I feel like the side cameras haven't been done well. Like I've seen the Audi implementation, and the way they put the screens on the door panels, I'm like, nah. If you're gonna put the screens, you need to put them closer to where they should be. Still, okay.
Oh, shit,
I just think that
Phil Spencer pink. Oh man, Phil pink.
Oh man,
that's this color.
I just think that like I said, I was talking to an Exo man now, but when I was talking to you, I was like, the cool thing about electrification is that cars got more aerodynamic because they needed to beat the fuel prices, basically. That's why they became, like these very slick shapes that we have now. And we don't get boxy cars anymore because a box is a, extremely aerodynamically inefficient, exactly, shape. But I was like, with electrification, especially as people start to install their own solar panels and they become their own power generator, you can go back to boxy designs like, the designs of the 70s muscle cars and everything like that. Remember how different cars used to look? By comparison, cars all kind of look the same now, because they're all trying to hit a lower drag coefficient. Exactly. But I'm like, with electric cars, if your fuel isn't expensive to you anymore, you can afford to put out a product that doesn't have to be as aerodynamically efficient as possible. Obviously, we're not quite there yet because, it obviously impacts the range of the car. But I imagine a world where you have 600 miles per charge and you can charge for free at home because you're just using solar power, especially in a place like California. We will get back to the whole cars look distinctively different from each other, kind of thing.
I will fuck with this car.
So, yeah. Anyways, I just thought, they had such a big fuss over the logo, and I agree the logo is just way too Gen Alpha for me. I'm just like, I don't know, man. It looks too generic compared to what was there before.
It is clean, but it is generic, yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have put, how they had the Jaguar on the little gold plate on the side of the car there? I think they should have put that in the logo. I think if they had an actual Jaguar there, people wouldn't mind so much. But, yeah. Anyways, that was my fun little topic. I thought everybody would appreciate a different discussion.
We're talking about a car none of us could afford other than J-Dub. Okay, great topic.
Listen, J-Dub will enjoy for all of us.
Thanks.
J-Dub will enjoy for all of us.
Right?
Storm me out, brother.
Thanks, Extreme, for reminding us we're broke as fuck.
Right.
Hey, listen, you know what? You know what? I did it for Jay. I want J-Dub to know what his options are.
Says, hey guys, let's talk about a topic on something you'll never have in your life.
Oh man, start me out, man. Start me out.
Hey, listen.
Be fair.
Don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite.
You're gonna talk about the G7 plane while we're at it. You're gonna bring that up.
Hey, listen. Most Xbox will never have a good console, and you talk about consoles every day. So now you know how they feel.
Touche.
Now you know how they feel. With your PlayStation fragrance that they never touch. You have a PS5 Pro. None of them are ever gonna have that. You are the J-Dub of consoles.
My man.
Oh man.
Man said, let's talk about the Jaguar. Like we ain't getting that. Like you have better luck getting the Honda PlayStation.
Yeah, J-Dub took Gran Turismo too seriously in life, bro. Like every time this dude sent a picture, every time he sent me a picture, it was like a different car. I'm like, bro, like what is this guy? Yeah, I got a flick. He got every time he took a picture, he was in a truck, and then he's in a what was that car you sent me? Oh my god, I can't even think of Aston Martin. I'm like, damn, bro. Every time I see this guy's in a different whip. Yeah, J-Dub got too much bread for his own good, man.
No, I just love cars. That's all.
Hey, J-Dub. That shit. He got the pink and the blue one.
J-Dub, that's why those lenses are coming to me, right? You're gonna send them. Right?
Hey, listen, man.
FedEx them to Australia. Yeah. FedEx them to Australia.
Man.
We get FedEx over here. We get FedEx.
Okay. All right. We're going to do our outros, all right? We're going to start with my brother J-Dub.
Hey, man. Y'all know where to find me on Twitter, man. Always kicking up dust. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, man, the console war came to an end, and I'm struggling, man. I'm going through withdrawals. I need other people to fight. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I ain't getting into the Listen, the Portal already got it. The Portal already won.
Shit, you already talking that shit.
That's what I said.
He's already talking that shit.
Won.
Oh, you got a Portal, dog?
I already had a Portal, but I wanted the
Is that the 30th
the 30th anniversary?
Yeah, I can't even resell it. You see what they did to the? I don't know if you can see that. You see the box? It's all damaged. You see?
Oh, that's.
Oh, you got to buy another one. You got to buy another one.
So whatever.
Buy another one and then send back this one. It's not even hard.
Are they in stock? I thought I seen they
don't
were in
know.
stock. I don't know.
I'm not in America.
Bro, whoever's doing the thumbnail is funny as hell. Putting him in the nice weather and everybody else in the snow. That was funny as fuck.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Nah,
funny.
that
he's
wasn't
breakdancing. And he's
good. That
breakdancing.
wasn't good. I do not accept that.
He has
That
the
is not.
Australian breakdance.
That is the most
From
slenderest
the
photo
Olympics.
I've ever had
Yo,
of
Extreme
myself.
Nah, that was he.
I
Yo,
hate
Extreme
that.
just said on Twitter, "Fuck you." Yo, that shit was funny. That was his reply to the dude. That basically. Shout out to our boy, bro, that does that, man. That shit is funny. Yo, I was dying.
That was creative. That was creative.
Yo, shout out to
No, the thing is, it was
Yeah.
so well done. As soon as I saw it, I was just like, "Oh, fuck off."
Yeah, shout out to that's SPRXS88 on Twitter. You know, he's the one
Shout
that
out to
does
him.
that. That's
J Dub don't get any snow. Actually, y'all don't get snow. You and J Dub, right?
Nah,
No.
yeah, I'm in Texas,
not in
man.
Cali. No.
Wow.
Unless you go
How do you do
north.
Christmas?
Unless you
Bro,
go
Christmas
north.
must be weird, bro.
Flip flops and tank tops,
I'm
man.
good. Listen.
Porter, I know you miss hoodie with the New York fitted and snowing out. Come on, I know you miss it, man.
No, my bones can't take that shit no more.
Oh, man.
Them days is over. Why do you think I'm going to Florida when I retire? I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing the shovel. I'm not doing salt on the sidewalk. I'm not shoveling shit. Nope, I'm not doing it.
You're right. That does suck, yeah.
They can't take
Hey,
my
so
arthritis.
now
can't
it's just
take that shit.
tornadoes and hurricanes for you.
That's it.
I
what
know.
you can deal with.
Yeah,
I know.
I just I trade. Hey, you gotta pick your poison.
Go pick your battle.
Pick your battles.
Hey, listen.
but winter, I'm
fun
not
one.
doing that.
Come to Australia.
See,
Hell that's the
you got to
devil's
deal
playground.
with
What do you
poison.
mean?
Yeah, you got
got
poisonous
spiders.
shit.
Weather.
You got spiders that
We have
conversate.
the best beaches in the world. We have the best beaches.
Spiders that conversate with you. They have whole ass conversations.
Right.
Like no.
We have the best beaches in
You
the
have the
world.
best. You have spiders that move in with you, and they got rental rights. Like no, can't even event them. Like no, I'm not.
Y'all
doing
got
it.
crocodiles in your
I-
beaches, bro.
I'm
Fuck
not
that.
doing that.
First of all, we actually don't have crocodiles except for like Queensland.
Saltwater
Don't go to
crocs?
We don't go to Queensland.
Got
Don't go to
kangaroos
Queensland.
that are diesel. They be
That
flexing on
snuff
you.
you?
Like no, I'm not doing that. Like every animal's out to
Listen, we
get
have-
you in that place.
Very wonderful things. We have.
Oh my god.
Listen, we have very wonderful things.
You probably
Low key,
do.
all we got is bad snow over here, Puerto Rico.
I'm
We
not
got
doing
it the
this.
best.
Like I'll be all right. I'm not doing it. Nope.
Yeah.
I'll be
yeah.
in Florida.
Okay, that's all right.
Soaking up some sun, drink a mojito.
Mm.
You know, when the hurricane comes, I'll just leave. You know,
Yo,
just
what is
sit-
coquito? It's like my boy had. It was a white. Yeah, he was
I got
drinking
some
that
in the-
shit.
I got some in the fridge right now.
Is that like a holiday thing? Because he was
Yeah.
okay.
So Latino, so it's Caribbean. So it's our version of eggnog, but it's coconut.
Okay.
based. It's coconut based, and it has white rum.
Bro, he
more
was like
traditional,
dancing. He was so
traditional.
happy
Oh, yeah.
drinking that. I was like,
It's like,
oh,
I'm about to hit up some coquito now. Shit, I used to
Fire.
drink that on my podcast here. I used
Fire.
to drink that shit live I gotta do that. I gotta make that a tradition. So on the next podcast, you're gonna see me drink some coquito.
but why do they call it coquito?
Because it's
I seen it.
coconut based. So the ingredients are, well, there's various ingredients, but this is how I make it. All right. So I have 1 can of condensed milk, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 can of coconut milk, and 1 can of coconut cream. All of that get blended, in a blender. Add a little bit of cinnamon, right? Just a little bit. Blend that up for a little bit, and then add white rum to taste. And then there's variations of that. Then everybody started, churching it up. They started adding Nutella. So there's like a Nutella version, which is good. I tried it. I was like, oh, shit, this is actually good. There's a Nutella version, same ingredients. Now, some people don't use coconut milk. They put like another evaporated milk. Some people put an egg. Some people put nutmeg. I mean, there's variations and stuff. I just gave you the version I make.
That sounds delicious. I'm not a big fan of eggnog, but that sounds.
That's good. Yeah. So I'll text you. I'll screenshot you what you can get. You can make it yourself. It's not easy. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. It's literally.
It's got to stay cold though.
Yeah, you got to put it in the refrigerator. So what you do once you put in a blender, you want like an empty bottle, a glass bottle. So that's what we say. If you ever noticed, Puerto Ricans save. You probably wonder like, why the fuck you guys save all the liquor bottles? It's because of coquito. We usually use those bottles for coquito. So you want an empty glass bottle, and then you pour it in there, let it chill, because obviously when you make it, it's warm because you just made it in a blender. Let it chill. The next day it'll be ready. And it's
Interesting. Send me that
Yeah.
for real. I'll
All right,
definitely
send
try it
yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Fire.
That's it.
All
All
right.
right.
Hold on.
All
While
right.
I give my outro, you've got
Yeah.
one more. We got one more link I sent
What?
you.
That's not
For
how
the
outros
people.
work.
For the people.
That's not
For
how
the
outros
people.
work. It doesn't
Do it
work.
for the
Outros
people.
means you're leaving.
You can find me. You can find me at
You
Info
want
Extreme. I'm
you
done.
want
See, very easy.
you want a second plate? Like no, you're leaving the
You were
leaving the
talking about
restaurant.
Coquito, and I was like, the people need to have something they can enjoy right now. You're
What's
the
this
only
one?
one that has Coquito.
What's this one? All right, PlayStation games, but make them Astro Botter a thread. First up, Bot. So Bot of War. Okay. The Bots of Us. Bot Rising, Forbidden West. Botchet and Clank. What the fuck? Bot Turismo 7. Bot of Tsushima.
Yeah, that's pretty creative.
Bot Turnal. Bots Souls. You know what? I wouldn't, to be honest. All right, so you know how. All right, you just made a topic. Damn it. So you know how you got Lego versions of games, of Star Wars, whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't Sony do this?
Hey, good
Bot
idea.
versions of these games.
Good idea.
I mean, that's technically what you do with Lego.
Oh,
Right?
Bot Stranding is good. Oh, Bot Stranding is good. That
Bot
is
Stranding.
good.
Damn, they don't got Killbot or Soulbot.
Oh my god, Killbot. Oh my god.
That
Your
Bot
blades
Stranding is
never
fire.
change.
Jack
May you
Bot
never
and
change.
Daxter.
Bro, that's pretty good.
Botborn. The old botters.
That's fire.
Oh, that was Botborn, the old botters. You know what, Sony? I don't see why they wouldn't. It's almost like the Lego version of these games.
Do you remember playing you guys played Astrobot, the Uncharted part? That shit was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie.
I would play Bot of War and Botborn. I would play Botborn. I ain't playing Bot Turismo. Sorry, you're not sucking me with that.
Nah, we still can't get you.
Motiram, you gotta try a racing game. Come on, bro.
Not even. I did try a long time ago. I don't like it. I'm like, this
yeah, but you might have changed. You might have been like, you know what?
Yeah. Nah. You can't change the stripes of a tiger.
Damn, you can't take the New York out of Puerto Rock, bro. Get rid of that Giants. What is that?
Yo, just leave this alone, all right? Listen.
Is that a beanbag?
Put some respect. No, it's a quilt. This is a pillowcase with a pillow.
You know you're really rocking the Xbox version of football teams right now. You know that, right?
Stop. I don't know what you're talking about because we won championships.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I can't even actually. Let me not even talk.
There's a reason why Brady has 7 and not 9.
You're right. Yeah, I'm a fall back.
Xbox can't do that. Back. All right.
You're right.
All right. You can't spell elite without Eli. Remember that. What you call it? Extreme's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Like
the thing you
guys are doing sports.
These are American sports again. Like American sports.
I forgive you for Americanness.
Hey, you got to get informed. You know what I mean? We're learning about Australian poison spiders and shit. You know, you got to learn too. Come on.
It's only fair. We're suffering from learning your shit. You gotta suffer and learn our shit.
Don't worry. Your entire presidential election, we all suffered through it.
Oh my god, the whole world, man. We'll see. Hey, you know what? We're not even gonna start. We're gonna leave that one alone. We're just gonna see how these 4 years play out.
Facts.
That's all we can do. All we can do, you know.
And we get in Bloodborne. We get in Bloodborne.
The outros just to help you through the next 4 years.
Before the country goes to shit, can we get Bloodborne 2, or at least a remastered, or just give?
Bro,
us
it was the last thing they showed on the 30th.
No,
it has to.
They're messing with us, and they put persistent.
Right. Exactly.
Like, damn, you guys are persistent. You're not getting it.
Nah, it's coming. If they show that it's coming, Porter.
No, they're trolling. They know we want it. They're like, nope.
Right.
You're not getting it. Like, why? You give us all this other bullshit that we don't want. Give us what we want. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, man,
and I just say,
what's up?
Yeah, go ahead. But now I was
Well,
gonna say
go
there's
ahead.
no celebration. People thought there was going to be some kind of showcase,
We ain't got
and I
no
was
show.
like, hey, the more things lined up, the less I believe in them. It's
Oh my
just too
God.
good on paper. So
Nigga, we
sorry
got no
guys,
show.
sorry there
We
was
got no
nothing.
show. Nope, no
But
show.
yeah,
And
I
like
didn't think there was ever gonna
and the
be.
18th month window's over. Like, hey,
Yep.
Yeah.
they like if they were saying, oh, we want to keep to our 18th month window, they need to have a show soon because the 18th month window from the last show passed.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hopefully they show something at the Game Awards. Hopefully there's a
I
surprise.
don't know. I don't know.
Nah,
We'll
fuck
see.
the Game Awards. Hopefully
No,
they come back
I
in
don't like
January
I know
and
what
they
him.
you
give
mean.
us
I rather
something
have
good.
I rather have a dedicated shit for their own, but
No,
Yeah, I want our
but you
own
know,
shit.
at least I want to see something, some sort of
I mean, they
surprise.
should probably
You know,
Ghost of Yotai again.
they
but
should
it's
have
like,
had a 30th event.
they
I don't
should
know.
have.
had it,
I don't
You're
know.
right.
Like I said, this gen is weird. I don't know what type of project managers these companies are hiring, or I don't know if the Gen Z folks are just stupid. I don't know what's going on. But some shits is just obvious. They should have had a 30th anniversary showcase. It's perfect. It literally lines up. Like it's literally sells itself. And I don't
Yep.
know. And they didn't have it. Like it's just weird. It's just this whole
This generation is weird,
Sony's
Porter.
weird.
Can we admit that it is a little weird?
I admit it is weird. This whole generation is just weird. Some of the obvious decisions that could have been made, they didn't make it. The decisions they are making is like, why are you making this? Who's making this? Like, I don't know. It's just weird. How they don't have a 30th anniversary showcase is beyond me. It's beyond me. It's
Hopefully
just
it picks up. Hopefully this shit picks up because really, man, like, listen, if I'm going back to my PS3, it's hard out here, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
He's like, it's hard out here for a pimp. I don't know.
Oh.
It's just weird. It's just weird. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It would be weird if they do a showcase in January. I'd be like, what?
Yeah, don't.
Like,
Yeah,
like you could have done this showcase on your birthday. Like
Right.
I don't know. It's just weird, man. It's just fucking weird. I don't know. We'll see. If they do a showcase in January, I'm like, you guys are just dumb. Like, you need to fire the guy. Like, why wouldn't you do the show during your 30th anniversary?
makes no
celebration?
sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't, bro. That's
Yep.
like, you know,
But,
it's like you don't give me the Jaguar on my birthday. You give it for me like on Martin Luther King Day. Like, wait, what? Like, okay, I guess. Happy Martin.
Thank
Luther
you.
King
Yeah.
Day. Here's a Jaguar. Like,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
screw my birthday. Like what? Like I don't know.
that was only the right time.
That was all right. But hey, I guess getting it on any day is better,
Better than
none, right?
nothing. Better than nothing.
yo.
Barely deliver.
Yeah. Blaze, what you been up to, man?
Man, listen, I'm sad the show's ending. Now you're like, oh, outros. I'm like, God damn. You know, I was watching a movie with my girl, and then I'm like,
That's
I
it,
couldn't
hey.
fall asleep,
That's
and I
always a
came
good
back on a PC, and I'm like, oh shit, Porter Rock's live, and let me hop in there. But
thing. Yeah. What movie?
you know, I wish I could have been on here longer, but I'm a pull up next week. You know, for sure.
You're always welcome. You know you're always welcome.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I'm just mad I missed half the show. So, but no, I appreciate it. I hope everybody's doing well. It's doing good. It's doing good. I'm trying new things. I'm trying to do community driven shows, but you know, I don't know,
I gotta pull up. It's just been busy last couple of holidays and all that shit.
bro. It's Christmas is gonna be here. And it's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. This 2024 smoked.
What do you do, Puerto Rock? Do you have like my girlfriend, like, so 2 years ago we started doing this. She has an Amazon thing and she sends me her Christmas list. And obviously I don't buy everything on there, but it's like a bunch of shit that she wants. And, you just pick out of it. And then,
Like a registry.
Yeah, it's like a
That's good.
registry. And she has a shit ton of stuff. And you're like, I'll get her this. I try to get her the whole list, but if you can't, you can't,
That's
But that's the best way to do it. So this way you get what you want. When you're older, obviously the kids is surprises and shit, whatever. But yeah, I mean, listen, man, I want to just say shout out to MJ Dub Puerto Rock. These are great people. I fuck with you guys heavy. And we got to make something shake, whether that's here or my show. But yeah, you guys know what's up. Blaze 4K, all platforms, Solidcast, Saturdays, 9:30. Appreciate you having me, Puerto Rock.
Yeah, all platforms. Remember, Sony baby.
Sony baby. Let's
All
fucking
right.
go.
All right, hit the like button on your way out. But thank you so much for rocking with us. The only friend these YouTube streets, PuertoRock77, and we will catch you next week. And stay tuned for some more videos. No, not next week. Not next week. So there'll be no podcast next week. I'll be in Salt Lake
damn.
City. I'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh, you're celebrating your graduation?
No, I
Is that
already
what
did
for?
that. I did that in
Oh,
Atlanta.
right, okay.
I did that in October.
Right,
So no, the Department of Defense Maintenance Symposium. So all the
right.
DoD. So that's in
The
Salt Lake City,
spies.
Utah.
That's where all the spies and assassins will be.
So no, it's maintenance.
Portal that's exactly
killing.
what you will call it. What the fuck were you
No,
gonna call it? The
maintenance,
spy
like fix
division?
stuff. I'm in communication electronic maintenance.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I fix
sure.
radios,
James Bond.
My
Agent
MOS
009.
is radios, satellite systems, logistics.
Yeah,
How
very
long you
boring
out there
stuff,
for?
isn't it?
What?
Yeah, very
How
boring
long?
stuff. That's what
How
James
long you
Bond
there?
says to his
This whole
girlfriend.
week. The symposium starts on Tuesday, so I'll be flying out Monday. It's Tuesday through Friday. It's
Damn.
4 days. So it's all services. It's a big deal. They do it once a year, but Salt Lake City is cold, man. They couldn't do that shit in Orlando. Like, bro.
Never been out there.
And neither have I, so we'll see what it is. So no podcast next week, so I'll be videos. I'll probably do a video from the hotel. Show you stuff.
That's classic Porter Rog right there.
Yeah. But anyway, people, the Only Friends YouTube Streets, we're out of here. Thank you so much for rocking out. You guys take care. Peace.
Peace.